Okay, and our new friend here is going to welcome us to the Fort Worth City Council meeting, so he's going to gavel us in. Sound good? Here's the gavel after you say welcome.
Welcome to City Council.
Here, he takes the gavel.
sure.
Meeting is now called to order.
Oh, order?
Yeah, that's good. That's great. Great job. Okay. Great job. Okay, y'all go this way. Down there towards Carlos.
Good evening. We ask that you please be seated and silence all electronic devices before the meeting starts. City Council meetings are conducted for the official business of City Council and to receive input from residents. Individuals attending the meeting shall observe rules of decorum and shall not engage in disorderly conduct that interferes with the ability of others to observe or participate in the meeting. Individuals who disrupt the meeting may be asked to leave and or have their mics turned off. For those of you who have requested to speak, when your name is called, please come forward to the center podium. The countdown clock is displayed on the left monitor and will indicate how much time is remaining, and a bell will sound when you have 30 seconds remaining. Before you begin your comments, please state your name. Thank you.
Officially call us to order again, and welcome to Fort Worth City Council. I'll turn it back over to Jeanette.
Tonight's invocation will be by Dr. Robert A. Pearl from Birchman Baptist Church. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledges of allegiance.
Let us pray together. Our Father and our God, we thank you for the blessings of life, the health you have given us, and the strength to honor you. We recognize that you are the giver of every good and perfect gift, and we thank you for the blessings we enjoy each day. I pray your protection for our first responders in our great city as they serve us. For our city leaders, I ask you to grant them wisdom and discernment in the decisions that they make to make our city safe and prosperous. Specifically, O Lord, I pray that you be with our city council and mayor as they faithfully discharge their duties and give them wisdom in their deliberations in this meeting. We thank you for your love and grace as I make these humble requests in the name which is above every name, the name of Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Our first special presentation will be a presentation of a recognition for the celebration of Dipali Tahar, the Festival of Lights.
Councilmember Peoples.
Mayor, council, and special guests, it is especially wonderful that we celebrate today on this beautiful, bright, and shining day. Because whereas Diwali Tihar is one of the most celebrated festivals worldwide with over 1 billion people estimated to participate, the celebration holds great significance to Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists. And whereas Diwali starts on the 13th day of the dark half of the lunar moon, Ashvani, and lasts until the second day of the light half of the lunar moon, Katari, Diwali and Tahar, especially Bhai Tika, are celebrated with unique rituals such as lighting diyas and decorating homes. And whereas the festival holds deep spiritual significance, particularly in honoring Goddess Lakshmi for wealth and prosperity. And whereas in 2025, Diwali falls on October the 20th, and during the festival, families, friends, and communities around the world gather with the hope of goodwill, peace, and a shared sense of renewal. And whereas the Nepali American community consists of over 100,000 residents in the city of Fort Worth and DFW who are proud to represent Nepal, the land of Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world, and one of the world's most spiritual and cultural destinations. And whereas Diwali's message of hope and compassion and the victory of light over darkness resonates with the residents of Fort Worth and the American spirit. And now, therefore, the city of Fort Worth is proud to celebrate and recognize the religious and historical importance of Diwali, the Festival of Lights, and does hereby proclaim October 21st, 2025 as Diwali Tahir Festival of Lights celebration. And here, and here to accept the proclamation is Mr. Mohan Gawali, who is our Commissioner for District 5 on Buildings and Standards and an esteemed member of the Nepali community. Oh, would you like to say a few words and then we'll gather for a picture? Okay.
Namaskar and good evening. Today I'm truly honored to be here among our community leaders and the Nepali American community members. Wishing you all the happy Deepavali, Tihar and the beautiful festival that symbolize the victory of light over darkness, good over evil. Deepavali and Tihar, especially Bhai are celebrated with the unique rituals such as lighting diyas, decorating homes, and the performing Devchi Bailo. The festival carries deep spiritual significance as we honor goddess Lakshmi, the symbol of wealth, prosperity, and the well-being. This joyous celebration of Deepavali promotes unity, diversity, and cultural harmony across the world. Even the President of the United States celebrates Deepavali at the White House every year. Recognize its global importance. Here is the Dallas Fort Worth are especially in the Fort Worth. Thousands of families celebrate Deepavali, Tihar is time of the reflection, renewal, and the togetherness. On behalf of the Nepali American Committee, with over 100,000 residents in the DFW Metroplex, we are proud to share that we have established a strong presence through organizations such as Nepali Culture and Spiritual Center, NCSC, in the city of the US, the Nepalese Society of Texas, NST, the Nepalese Chamber of Commerce, DFW, and our financial institution, Everest Federal Credit Union, which is called EFCU. Today, we humble request to Honorable Mayor, city members, especially Council Member Deborah Peoples, to consider bring forward to Deepavali TR resolution for the city of Fort Worth. We are proud to represent Nepal, a Himalayan nation of 32 million people, about the size of the great state of the Texas. Nepal is the home of the Mount Everest, the highest peak of the world, and the birthplace of the Lord Gautam Buddha in Lumbini, a global symbol of the peace and the compassion and the tourism destination. Therefore, thousands of the Hindus families living in around the Tarrant County and the such recognition from the city all means so much to our community. For your reference, the Dallas County Commissioner Court has already passed the celebration Deepavali Tihar resolution annually. We sincerely hope to see this wonderful traditional also establish here in the Fort Worth city, so that we together we can celebrate Deepavali Tihar every year at the Fort Worth city. About the event, Deepavali Tihar, the festival of light, is the series and the time when come together to celebrate light over darkness, good over evil, and the hope over despair. It means all the bring positivity, unity, compassion into our community. Each year, we invite the entirely community to join the meaningful celebration at the Photo City Hall and look forward to growing this traditional together. Before I conclude, I am pleased to share great news. The Consulate General of Nepal office was officially established in the Dallas just last week, which will further strengthen cooperation and the cultural exchange between Nepal and the beautiful city of the Fort Worth. Also, I would like to welcome Mr. Lal Airi, the CEO of the Gorkhapatra Corporation Nepal, who is visiting for the Texas to celebrate Deepavali in Tihar. Once again, thank you, the Honorable Mayor, all the council members, city officials, community leaders, journalists, and all the members of the Nepal American community, and they appreciate for your time, support, and the continued partnership. Thank you. Happy Deepavali. Okay, let's come together with the mayor.
Yes, if we can gather down here.
Sure.
Spread out a little bit. I got a wide angle lens, so got plenty of room. Can fit plenty of people in here. Yeah, we can spread out this way, guys. Yeah. Spread out this way, guys. Fan out. Span out a little bit more. Make sure I can see everyone's faces. Yeah, scoot this way, please. Let's see. Come back this way. There we go. Also, this lowers. All right. We got everyone in here. Let's do this. Okay. Look here. Big smile on three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good to go.
Our next presentation will be a recognition celebrating the Texas Wesleyan University 135th anniversary for First Fort Worth Higher Education Institution.
Councilmember Nettles is presenting this recognition. I know we have some special guests here tonight, Chris, and go Rams.
Go Rams. Yes. Come on. So today is an exciting day. Also want to acknowledge that we here in Fort Worth, we support education. We believe education is the right way to go for our city. And so tonight is an honor to celebrate Texas Wesleyan for 135 years of service to the Fort Worth Metropolitan. So that serves a round of applause. So I'm going to read this proclamation and then hand it over to our esteemed president that's here today. All right, the City of Fort Worth special recognition presented to Texas Wesleyan University, 135th year at the first Fort Worth Higher Education Institution. Whereas in the year of 1890, prior to Fort Worth becoming the vibrant city we know as today. A small yet visionary institution opened its doors, Texas Wesleyan University, the first institution of higher education established here in the city of Fort Worth. Whereas for its 135th years, Texas Wesleyan has stood as a beacon of knowledge, nurturing leaders, and inspiring change, transforming lives through its steadfast dedication, academic speaking in tongues here, excellence. Those of y'all know what that means. That's something separate than we just celebrate. That's in the Kojic Church. um, Academics and personal attention. Whereas from its campus in East Fort Worth, Texas, Texas Wesleyan has become more than just an institution of learning. It has become a vital pillar of our community, serving as a catalyst for economic mobility, development recognized by U.S. News and World Reports, contributing over $240 million to our local economy in the past year just alone, and opening doors for opportunity for great generation students. Whereas this university has more than 27,000 alumni, and I believe we have some on the dais as well, reading in Fort Worth, across Texas, and around this world. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of Fort Worth, Texas, hereby commends and congratulate Texas Wesleyan University on its 135th anniversary and extends our heartfelt appreciation to the enduring contributions to education, economic growth, and civic development. Be it further resolved that the city of Fort Worth proudly recognizes Texas Wesleyan University as its historical part of the community. We look forward to another 135 years. I don't know if you and I will be here, but we will get it started. Signed today by Councilman Chris Nelson in the city of Fort Worth. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Nettles, and thank you, Mayor Parker and Council. I'm delighted to be here today as we celebrate the 135th year of Texas Wesleyan. And yes, we were the first higher education institution founded in the city of Fort Worth, just 4 miles looking over the bluff of the Trinity River, it said in our history books. So we're delighted to be here. We have so many great things going on at the university. We are excited to say that we enrolled our largest freshman class in the university's 135-year history this year and saw an overall increase of 10% for overall enrollment this year. So lots of great things going on. If you know me at all, you know that I focus on the students and making sure that Texas Wesleyan is a student-centered university. And so I'm delighted that we have our student government president here with us today, Mr. Dalen Harris. He's a wonderful representative for our student body. As well as our Vice President for Enrollment Management, Ms. Lauren Finley, who helped lead us to the largest freshman class this year. But it truly is an honor to be here. I want to say thank you again to Mayor Parker and the council. This is my 3rd academic year here at the university and living in the city of Fort Worth, which my family and I love dearly. And we have many great things going on in East Fort Worth. And thank you to the opportunity and the trust in us to lead the Main Street effort for Poly as well. So we're excited about where we're going, and I appreciate everyone being on board with us, and thank you for your support. Thank you.
Our next presentation will be a recognition celebrating the Michelita Festival 10th anniversary.
Councilmember Elizabeth Beck.
right. Well, as you can see, a couple weeks ago, downtown really came to life. And we are here today to celebrate 10 years strong of the Michelada Festival. And so I have with me today here Patricia Castillo, who is CEO of Connect Respect, the organization that puts on the Michelada Festival. And I have a recognition here that I can read the whereases, but I'd rather just let people hear about the amazing work that you do from you. Let me say this, not to put you on the spot, but I'll prime them up so you don't have to do all the work. Like I said, this is the 10th year that the Michelada Festival has been downtown Fort Worth, and it started with one block of downtown as the festival grounds, and now it stretches from the convention center to Sundance Square with plans to expand into Sundance Square next year, I think. Did I let the cat out of the bag? Okay, all right. So as you can tell, the festival is growing year over year. It really highlights local entrepreneurs. All of the vendors there with their micheladas are local. They get to keep 100% of their earnings. The council member for the district gets to be a judge in that taste test. Twist my arm, it was terrible. I'm happy to come back next year and serve in that capacity as well. But they don't just host a festival here in Fort Worth. They give back to the community. And they do so by partnering with Texas Wesleyan with a very, very generous endowment of $25,000 that they give to make sure kids make it across the finish line for college. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Patricia to give us a few words.
Thank you, Councilwoman Beck. Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. Yes, we are celebrating 10 years. Thank God. It did start out as one block, a few thousand, and now we're 5 blocks, over 40K. We do support Connect Respect, a nonprofit organization that focuses on the unconscious bias. We fight the unconscious bias, and we encourage people to find a connection through peaceful exchange. We have our chairwoman, Frances De Leon, here, who's going to say a few words about that. Like you mentioned, we are supporting Texas Wesleyan. Through the years, we've supported different organizations and different scholarship programs, but after this year, we are able to support Texas Wesleyan with the endowment investment. And just to reiterate all the wonderful things that were said about Texas Wesleyan, a little bit history about me. My mom worked in the cafeteria at Texas Wesleyan, and thanks to them, my sister and I got our undergraduates for free. And I went back to get my MBA. When I was choosing a school, I said, why not invest in a school that invested in me once upon a time? And Texas Wesleyan, the education I got there really changed my life. They gave me the wherewithal. They taught me how to use my time, my talent, and my resources to do what I do and create what me and my team have been able to create in downtown. So thank you, Texas Wesleyan. Like, as you mentioned, 100% of the vendors are locally owned, independently owned businesses. We did have 2, one from Houston, one from Odessa, that came looking for us. I didn't go looking for them. I prioritize Fort Worth businesses in that regard. And we also had some community partners, whether it was the Texas Rangers, Arte Zaragoza, and the Fort Worth Public Library, that we offer that to them pro bono. So if you want to say some words. Oh, look at everybody.
I want to give thanks. My name is Frances De Leon. I am the president of the board for Connect Respect. And like our mission says, we are looking for a space where we can respect one another and have fun and really come and connect. And we have found that in our downtown Fort Worth. I want to say the number once again, we hit 40,000 people, 40,000, and not one incident. So this is the true meaning of respecting and being able to enjoy our culture and doing it for a good cause and being able to give back to the community. Everyone that was there in attendance, as your MC, I reminded everyone, we are here to have a really enjoyable time, but to do it the right way and give back to the scholarship with Texas Wesleyan. We have our team here anywhere from, we've got a team that really sticks together in helping us put all of this together. So I want to give them a big thanks. Thank you.
a little bit. Logo's right here, so let's get everyone centered up. Yes. Yeah. Scoot over. Yeah, a little bit more. All right. Okay, everyone, big smile on three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it.
Our next presentation will be a presentation of a recognition celebrating 20 years of ballet for folklorico. I know I butchered that. Sorry. De Fort Worth, Inc.
And this is Mayor Pro Tem Carlos Flores.
Mayor and Council, good evening. We are indeed blessed to have the presence of such talented and beautiful performers here tonight. So I really appreciate that. Ballet Folklorico has been an organization that for 20 years has celebrated Mexican and Hispanic heritage in our city through the performing arts. They're truly an organization that we all look up to because they're emblematic of the rich cultural diversity that the city has here. And so in honor of that, I'd like to make a special recognition and read it thusly. The City of Fort Worth, Council District 2 proudly honors Ballet Folklorico de Fort Worth, Inc. on its 20th anniversary. For 20 years, Ballet Folklorico de Fort Worth has been a vibrant and essential part of our community. It is dedicated to preserving and promoting the rich traditions of Mexican culture through dance and music. Through its performances, educational programs, cultural outreach, the organization has inspired pride, unity, and understanding among generations of Fort Worth residents. The City of Fort Worth proudly commends Ballet Folklorico de Fort Worth for its lasting commitment to artistic excellence, cultural preservation, and community engagement. Your work has significantly enriched our city's cultural landscape and played a vital role in strengthening the diverse fabric that makes Fort Worth truly special. As we celebrate Hispanic heritage and honor the contributions of our Latino community, we also celebrate your dancers, families, and supporters whose passion, dedication, and artistry continue to uplift and inspire us all. Congratulations on 20 years of cultural leadership and artistic achievement. We look forward to many more years of your success and ongoing contributions to the heart and spirit of Fort Worth. Hereby presented, Carmen, muchísimas gracias. If you'd like to say anything, please, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and especially Councilman Carlos Flores for this honor. We thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to preserve the legacy of our ancestors through music and dance. All of our dancers enjoy coming out and showing the beauty of Mexico and their culture, the traditions, the various regions of Mexico. Along with the parents who truly support this organization, we are extremely blessed to have the support of this community. And I thank you all. And we hope to keep doing this for another 20 years. Maybe not me, but one of my dancers, possibly. So thank you so much for your support and commitment to Ballet Folklorico de Fort Worth. We will continue to represent the city of Fort Worth through Ballet Folklorico. Thank you so much. Ballet Folklorico de Fort Worth. I want to see if they can give you, our dancers can give you a grito. They do these gritos when they perform, and it shows how much they enjoy what they're doing. Ready? Ooh, let's do it over here. Come.
Got everyone? Okay. Got my pictures. All right, just look here. Do one big smile at the camera on three. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Our next presentation will be a recognition honoring Rachel De Lira, 30 years as a woman-owned Latina photography business in Fort Worth.
Rachel, this might be the only time you're not behind a camera. It's great to see you.
Good observation, Mayor. Mayor and Council. Another very worthy recognition for someone who's dutifully taken all those special moments for many of us, if not all of us, at one point in time or another. I'm proud to be able to do this for Rachel for a lot of reasons. It's often said that the camera captures the image, but the photographer captures the moment. And Rachel has done that, for how many years have you been doing this? 30 years. That's what I thought. 30 years. Think about that. She is a woman-owned business and also a Latina woman-owned business. So doubly commendable. All right. So special recognition to Rachel De Lira, celebrating 30 years, a woman-owned and Latina photography business in Fort Worth. Whereas Rachel De Lira, a proud Latina entrepreneur, creative professional, and has dedicated 30 years of capturing Fort Worth's people, progress, and spirit through her award-winning photography and her video work. And whereas, after earning her certification associate's degree in the radio, television, and film program from North Lake College in Dallas, Rachel launched Hunbun Video Productions in 1995, producing commercial and private event projects throughout North Texas. And whereas in 2016, Rachel began working with the city of Fort Worth, where she discovered her passion for event photography and founded Style Fort Worth, now a trusted vendor for the city of Fort Worth. Texas Wesleyan University as well, TCU Neely School of Business, the Metro Report Magazine, Business Press, and numerous community charities. And whereas as a proud member of both the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce, Rachel's completed over 1,000 event shoots in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, uplifting local stories and businesses through her artistic vision and entrepreneurial spirit. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by myself, Mayor Pro Tem, and on behalf of Mayor Parker and the Fort Worth City Council, I do hereby extend sincere appreciation and recognition to Rachel De Lira for her 30 years of excellence, creativity, and leadership as a woman-owned Latina business owner, and for outstanding contributions to the city of Fort Worth. Congratulations, Rachel. Would you like to say anything on this? The mic is yours.
Yeah, this is nerve-wracking. I'm used to the other side of it. Number one, thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Oh my gosh, all the smiles. I love it. It's made me a really happy woman this past 30 years. Big thank you to my family. I can't do anything without my husband, Robert. 40 years of General Motors working to buy me the latest camera, buy me the printer, buy me what I need, whatever I need to need, where I need to go, so I can do my job. That's a partner. That's my love. Thank you. I literally wrote down all the organizations, and I thought the list went on and on and on throughout the 30 years of nonprofits and companies, whether small and big. I mean, we would be here all night, but I thought I'd share this really quick. I got to work with a PR firm for the first time. It was really nerve-wracking because they were big companies, but they brought me in to shoot Senator Cornyn's event, and my job was to come in and shoot for him his main 8x10 photos and then be his paparazzo throughout the night. So when I went to shake his hand, He's like, oh, yeah, okay, thank you. Nice to meet you. Very well. And I took a lovely photo with him and his wife. But as the line grew for everyone who needed to take a photo, the very first person was our wonderful Mayor Betsy Price. And as she walked up, she said, ah, that's our Rachel. Okay, let's take a picture. And I realized as we went on, it was like, hey, Rachel, hi, Rachel, hi, Rachel, all the way through. And I just realized I'm on the right track because it didn't matter where they came from, what business, politics, it didn't matter. It was all that one connection. And it got me through my path. It got me through my years. And I'm just so grateful. And all I have is hope. Hope to the next generation. That you can be within the minority group, you can be this, you can be that, but you can if you hope and you work hard. So thank you again. Thank you for this recognition. And big shout out to my girl over there as well, my BFF over there, Rachel Adriano. Thank you all who support small business like me.
Great job, Rachel.
Everyone, big smile on three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it.
We love you, Rachel.
Our next presentation will be a recognition for Ashley Lekas.
Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening to everybody that's here today. It's an absolute pleasure to stand here today and celebrate an individual whose journey is a powerful testament to the meaning of dedication and resilience. When we look at Ashley's incredible achievements, it is clear that we're looking at a truly amazing athlete. What makes her story so powerful isn't just the wins, it's the path that she took to get there. It's a path of transformation, discipline, and perseverance that defines her success today. And so now it is my distinct pleasure to present Ashley Lekas with this special recognition that I will now read. And so, whereas Ashley Lekas embarked on her remarkable athletic journey in dance before making a powerful transition to wrestling during her junior year at Plano West High School, now as a junior at Texas Wesleyan University, she continues to shine. And whereas her unwavering dedication to wrestling has instilled invaluable qualities of discipline, resilience, and perseverance, resulting in a profound physical and mental transformation. And whereas following high school, Ashley persevered in her pursuit of wrestling, training nationwide, and overcoming a life-threatening spinal cord injury. And whereas her steadfast commitment to overcoming challenges has led to extraordinary accomplishments, including back-to-back NAIA Women's Wrestling National Championships in the 180-pound division, a U23 national title, recognition as a U.S. Open All-American, a silver medal at the Grand Prix of Spain, and the esteemed title of NWCA All-American Scholar Athlete. Now, therefore, I, Councilwoman Jeanette Martinez and the City of Fort Worth, proudly commend and congratulate Ashley Lekas for her remarkable perseverance, unwavering faith, and inspiring achievements both on and off the wrestling mat. Her legacy exemplifies the true power and dedication of resilience, presented this 21st day of October. Ashley, do you want to say a few words? Sure.
I just wanted to thank you all for having me here, and I give Jesus this victory because he's been my rock that's graciously provided an atmosphere of coaches and athletes around me as my teammates to really learn and grow and just give me the permission to try and fall and get back up again. So I'm very, very grateful for you guys. And just for all you guys out there who maybe have not watched the sport of wrestling, when I was a dancer and had a tutu, I didn't know what wrestling was. I thought it was something that you'd watch like WWE, but it's so much more. Wrestling as a sport, it's become so much more than just a combat sport and just a victory that lasts for a second, just a little hand raise. It's there's so much more. When you support wrestling, you're supporting a sport that gives hope and that shapes young men and women. It can change the trajectory of one's life and cause someone to truly believe in themselves again when they feel broken. Um, this sport, it's one that breaks you down, but also that builds you up. It's very life-giving. And so this championship represents so much more than just a medal. And I encourage all the young women and men that consider joining to be a part of this sport like this that becomes more than just the medals that you carry with you. And I wanted to say too that wrestling and its training has been a huge, it's been a physical manifestation of the faith that I carry, the spiritual realities of the faith that I carry, and I'm so grateful. And I wanted to leave you guys with a verse that I feel like is synonymous with the sport and the training and all the setbacks, but also the victories. And it's John 16. He says, Jesus says, I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth, you will have many trials, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. Thank you, guys.
Oh, wait.
Our final presentation will be a recognition for Augmentative and Alternative Communication Awareness Month.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to take actually point of personal privilege right now. First of all, I just want to recognize Boy Scout Troop 97. Y'all wave out there. Thanks for coming today and learning about what happens here at City Hall. The actual question was, what the heck do y'all do here? And we're still trying to figure that out, I bet. But thank y'all for being here today. Appreciate y'all. We have here Kendra Frank and her son Elliot. You may remember in May, we had them here recognizing Elliot's Voice, the charity he started, and World Apraxia Day. Elliot's Voice provides these communication boards that we have out at our city parks and other places, so people that are challenged can actually communicate with us. And it's now we're here for Augmentative and Alternative Communication Month. And if AACs, they include these boards along with sign language, picture symbols, writing tools, and speech generating devices. So I have a special recognition, and I'll come down there in just a second, but it says, whereas communication is a fundamental human right essential for connection, inclusion, and participation in all aspects of life, and whereas millions of children and adults around the world experience significant communication challenges that may rely on augmentative and alternative communication methods, including communication boards, sign language, picture symbols, writing tools, speech generating devices, whereas AAC helps to give every person a voice, allowing individuals with speech or language disabilities to participate more fully in school, work, and community life. And whereas the month of October has been designated internationally by the International Society for Augmentative and Alternative Communication as AAC Awareness Month, with 2025 theme Innovation, Inclusion, and Advocacy in AAC. And whereas communities across the United States join in celebrating AAC Awareness Month to promote understanding, accessibility, and respect for individuals who use AAC and the professionals and families who support them. Now, therefore, the City of Fort Worth does hereby proclaim October 25 as Augmentative and Alternative Communication Month in the City of Fort Worth. Thank you. I'll come down.
Thank you. I wrote something down so I don't forget this time. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for proclaiming October AAC Awareness Month. You know, our nonprofit Elliot's Voice started because of Elliot, in honor of him, who uses AAC to communicate. And awareness leads to inclusion, and recognition helps families like ours feel encouraged and advocate more. So this is one of the easiest ways that I found as an advocate is to get your city to recognize things, because it puts it in the forefront in front of people, and it helps with our mission of communication looks different for everyone, and let's celebrate it all. Yes.
Next will be items to be continued or withdrawn by staff.
We have 3 items. MNC 250975 to be continued to the October 28th council date by staff. MNC ZC 25-125 to be continued to the November 11th council date by staff. And ZC 25-149 to be continued to the November 11th council date by staff.
Mayor, that gets us to speakers on the consent agenda.
Willoughby. Bob Willoughby will be followed by James Ray Elliott.
Yeah, they usually start it before. I've seen at the last meeting, you waited till the people got their picture up where you put their time start, but you start mine right away. Thank you. This, y'all appointing judges. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know it was part of your deal, appointing judges. And I'm here to say that you aren't to put an independent board to appoint judges that we can trust. You have proven not to be. Did you know before you moved these meetings up to 6 at 7 o'clock, if they were 7 o'clock regular, these people wouldn't be in the sunshine. They would have it blocked out. You might want to put some curtains over there. It'd be nice. But you don't see that, so you don't feel it. But anyway, we used to have meetings at 7. You wouldn't have that problem. Okay. Point of order. There it is. What took you so long? Okay. We're talking about the judges here, right? Okay. You appointing judges. My reason why I don't trust y'all to appoint judges, because Mayor Parker, until you retract what you said about me and banned me from council. You said I cursed at 12-year-old kids and banned me from council. That's a barefaced lie. Why should you be appointing the judges? You shouldn't be appointing chicken pluckers. Nothing. You lied about me. Now, when you retract that publicly, I'll stop saying it. But until you do, you owe me an apology, and you are to, because you banned me for 3 months from here on a lie. Thank you.
There we go. Next speaker is James Ray Elliott, followed by Aaron James. Is Mr. Elliott here? Aaron James? Aaron? Aaron will be followed by Danielle Tucker.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. I'm here tonight to oppose any name change to White Settlement Road. We must recognize that there are things more important than money, and the preservation of our history is one of those things. White Settlement Road has historical significance, just like our beloved Fort Worth. These names are not mere labels, they are embodiments of our past, reminders of how far we've come, and markers of the complex interactions between our ancestors. Would we contemplate changing the name of Fort Worth if someone were to say they wouldn't invest here while bearing its name? The name itself is steeped in history, and the same applies to White Settlement. The narrative we preserve is crucial. If we begin to change names due to discomfort, how far does that go? Could we face calls to alter Fort Worth itself because it might offend descendants of the Comanche tribe? History belongs to all of us, and it should not be sanitized to fit a modern narrative. We should be learning from our history, not attempting to erase it. True progress does not mean sacrificing our identity. Let's keep White Settlement Road as it is, a testament to our shared past and a bridge to our future. Have the courage to protect this fort and its history. Let's unite to ensure that the road remains one of Fort Worth's oldest streets, proudly bearing its name for years to come. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Danielle Tucker, who will be followed by Jimmy Jenkins.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Danielle Tucker. I'm here on behalf of DeSaco, our family-owned development firm, in support of the approved 5-year tax abatement for the rehabilitation of 1203 East Luda, formerly known as 1201 East Luda. This commercial building, constructed in 1911, is a cornerstone of the Terrell Heights neighborhood's cultural and commercial legacy. Our goal was never demolition. It has always been authentic, factual preservation and adaptive reuse, bringing this building back as a neighborhood grocery store and general retail space that serves residents while honoring its deep history. Over the years, this site has welcomed some of America's greatest artists: Dewey Redman, Ornette Coleman, Prince Lachey, Charles Moffett, Fats Waller, Duke Ellington, and/or Louis Jordan, each helping shape Fort Worth's distinctive rhythm and its rooted contribution to America's jazz history. And possibly one notable civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. Just blocks away once lived William Gooseneck McDonald, a pioneer banker, businessman, and civic leader whose vision opened doors of opportunities for generations. We are proud to continue that same spirit of enterprise, culture, and community advancement, and we thank him for paving the way for moments like this. Today, through partnerships with the Fort Worth History Center, Texas State University Archives in San Marcos, the Fort Worth Report, YouTube, that these stories have been documented and preserved, assuring that this building's legacy remains woven into the tapestry of Fort Worth's rich history. Our firm is investing directly into this rehabilitation, supporting local trades, small contractors, and community-based revitalization consistent with the neighborhood improvement zone. By supporting this abatement, the city is doing more than adding one property. You're affirming a commitment to heritage, equity, and neighborhood pride. We want to send a special thank you to Susser Bank, Bennett Partners, for believing in our vision and helping make this project possible, along with Councilman Nettles, the City of Fort Worth Historic Preservation Staff, Development Services, the Fort Worth Art Commission, Southeast Fort Worth, and two special neighbors, Reverend Charles and Mr. Scott. This partnership shared history lessons. Desires reflect the belief that history and investment can coexist beautifully. Again, thank you for your time, your leadership, and your continued support of the historic Terrell Heights neighborhood. That this project isn't just about one address, it's about preserving the soul of Fort Worth and keeping history alive for generations to come. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jimmy Jenkins, followed by Pastor Troy Jackson.
I believe Margaret was going to give a 1 minute and followed by a video. And then I was going to use my time for the 3-minute video.
I just go in order, has signed up if you don't mind. Yeah. Margaret, are you Margaret Johnson?
This is Margaret.
Okay, that's fine. If you use the center podium, if you don't mind, please.
Sorry, we had a system. Didn't know you had a system.
That's okay.
I am Margaret Johnson. I am president of River District Neighborhood Association. And the only thing that is constant is change. And through change, we choose community. Tonight, we bring a message of unity, not division. The conversation about White Summit Road has reminded us that change is inevitable, but how we respond defines our community. We have not yet reached an agreement. We were offering one, a path that honors our past and embraces our future. Our proposal preserves 23 miles of White Summit Road as a Texas historical corridor, ensured its story and is told through education, not erasure. Our historical marker, and it should be, hopefully was on the screen, but anyhow, you have it in your packet. Because when we choose over anger, everyone wins. I miss it. The historical marker, the handshake sculpture you see that represents two sides coming together, Fort Worth and Dallas, past and future, progress and preservation. Because when we choose understanding over anger, everyone wins. And it was supposed to be a video.
Do we have a video?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins will be followed by Pastor Troy Jackson.
My 3 minutes was going to be the video from Fox, and it was about the importance of White Settlement Road and how you can not take that away from the residents, at least for the reasons that are being taken. The reasons being taken is to rebrand a development so you can capitalize on 170 years worth of history. My dad, I thought he was crazy, but he went and he dug down White Settlement Road, and we have treasures of bullets from 200 years old. If we take one piece, then we're going to take two pieces, then we're going to take three pieces, and we're not going to have anything left. So I believe that we should not change the name for frivolous reasons, especially taking 170 years away from Fort Worth. And it's a shame we don't have the video because it was played all over the local stations, and I had sent it in 2 or 3 times. Unfortunately, I think that would probably have told a lot about how we all feel. And instead, I'm doing this ad lib, and I wish that everybody would go online and look at the fairness of the reporting for Fox and Channel 5. And there was a little bit of bias. I actually say a lot of bias on Channel 8. So do your research. I gave you packets of resolutions. If you decide to change the name, we will most likely follow up and change our name from River District, where it's White Settlement, to River District Way. So if you do change the name, we will be changing our name, and this is where it starts. Please stop it from starting.
Our next speaker is Pastor Troy Jackson, followed by Chris Mahon.
Good evening, Mayor. Good to see you again. Council, thank you for your time. I rise to oppose the street name change unless 2 guardrails are nailed down. Number one, every single cost is absorbed by the petitioner, and the purpose is strictly practical, not a backdoor return to the prior efforts to appease race baiting pressure campaigns. First, the facts in your packet that you put out to us tell the story. This request comes from a single adjacent developer to rename a portion of White Settlement Road between University Drive and North Henderson Street to West Side Drive. With the city manufacturing and installing 47 signs at 15 intersections, the memo estimates $25,658.53 for signs and says the city must pass an appropriation ordinance and amend the fiscal year 26 budget to support the change. Even though the applicant will bear the cost, that tells you there's municipal overhead, staff time, and process risk beyond the raw metal material. So principle number one, no taxpayer subsidy, explicit or hidden, if the council proceeds at all, require the petitioner to pre-fund, not post-fund, but pre-fund and escrow not only signage, but all downstream costs, staff hours, mapping GIS updates, public safety databases, wayfinding, and notification logistics. Further, because this is a developer-driven branding move, require a mitigation fund to offset private readdressing costs for existing residents and businesses, licenses, stationery, storefronts, websites, delivery changes. If you're going to rename their door, don't hand them the bill. Principle number two, motivation matters. The memo frames this as in support of a new mixed-use development. Fine, but this council owes the public an explicit finding that the change is not a capitulation to race-based grievances, merchants trying to get through another back door to launder history by relabeling it. We don't govern by hashtag. If the petitioner's reasons are marketing and wayfinding, then they need to find another way to go about it. Third, the public interest and private convenience. We have to have a process of integrity. And as people, you say you're people of faith. So apply your integrity into this decision and do not pass the cost over to the taxpayers of the city of Fort Worth for this initiative at any point whatsoever. God bless you.
Chris Mahon, followed by Luella McKenzie.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Chris Mahon. I'm here representing Binswanger Glass. We have been a long-standing business located on White Settlement Road since 1959, and we've been servicing the greater DFW area since 1930s, close to 100 years. I'm here to highlight the significant operational, financial, and community impacts this proposed name change could have on businesses like ours. The proposed renaming to Westside Drive may seem symbolic, but for those of us who depend on this address daily for logistics, supply chains, and customer navigation, the consequences are far outreaching and costly. Here are some examples of areas where our businesses may be impacted. In the procurement and vendor management, we have about 100 plus suppliers that will require formal address changes. Each of these suppliers will request new credit applications and verifications. We have estimated that roughly 200 hours of administrative time alone to complete this task. Deliveries and cash flows. Lost deliveries, delayed deliveries, and misrouted checks could last for months. An estimated 7 to 10% drop in business during this transition. Insurance compliance. Vehicle and facility insurance must be renewed. Records must be updated with the IRS, Texas Secretary of State, Texas Comp Control, along with other state entities, requiring additional administrative costs still to be determined. Our digital and marketing disruption. Our CEO and online visibility with search engines such as Google treats our address as a trust signal. Changing it resets our verification on our local search authority. This reduces our visibility on maps and local searches. Consistency across other platforms. Our address appears over hundreds of directories. Yelp, Apple Maps, Bing's, Angie List, and more. And each must be manually updated, increasing the risk of mismatched information. Our marketing and branding, every sign, every decal, every digital asset must be redesigned, adding additional thousands of costs. All of this financial burden has been estimated to cost well into the hundreds of thousands. I've also provided you with a more detailed overview of the possible financial and operational impacts. For my closing statement, I would like to say Fort Worth's small and mid-sized businesses form the backbone of our economy. A name change may seem symbolic, but for us, a distribution with long-term effects on operations and customers and employees. A symbolic name change should not result in real operational and financial harm to businesses, and we ask the council to balance historical acknowledgement with economical practicality. And we respectfully ask the council to delay or reconsider the naming until an economic impact study is conducted or a transition plan has been provided. Thank you for allowing me to speak here for you today, and thank you for your consideration of the real-world impact before making your decision.
Our next Luello McKenzie will be followed by Carl Anderson.
Hi there. I apologize. I only made 10 copies for the council. Hi, I am Luella McKenzie. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. I am here to address the absolutely absurd proposal of contemplating such a petty and biased proposal to change the name of such a long-established and recognized part of our beloved Fort Worth for a small number of individuals. Changing the name of White Settlement Road to the proposed new name, West Side Drive, would apply to a roughly mile-long stretch from the roundabout at North Henderson Street and Jacksboro Highway to University Drive. My concern is the expense to those directly impacted by the proposal. Are the developers of West Village, thank you, directly impacted by the proposal? Are the developers that are behind that agreeing to cover the cost to each and every merchant and resident along that mile-long stretch that would be impacted and inconvenienced, to change all business cards, letterhead, envelopes, building signage, all street signage, billboards, websites, vehicle signage, etc., just to accommodate a few while impacting and much inconvenience for a very long time to not only the merchants and residents, but to their untold prospective customers, guests, and vendors that would also be inconvenienced, and quite possibly loss of revenue, loss of parcels, shipments, as well as the cost to mapping platforms, etc., is absurd, ridiculous, and lacks common sense. And we, Fort Worth, Texas, is known for our down-to-earth common sense. Let us not lose that heritage to appease a few. If one is offended by the word white, get over it or move. We have much more important things to spend our time and money and effort on than this agenda of a small, petty, and biased faction. Thank you for your time.
Carl Anderson, followed by Brian Barnett.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Thank you for your time this evening, and thank you for your service to the city. My name is Carl Anderson. I'm with the development team of Westside Village. Our intent in seeking to rename this mile of the road is not to interfere with history. It's simply to reposition this corridor as part of our transformational development on the way into the CBD of Fort Worth. We suggested West Side Drive in order to reference the west side of town. We were trying to pick something that's innocuous. We also obviously named our development West Side Village after the west side of town. We hope that our investment in this area is transformative for the city, but also, of course, for this corridor. And we think renaming this corridor will really help with that transformation. We're excited to replace aging car dealerships and warehouses with a vibrant hub of shops, restaurants, hotels, and offices. Finally, I do want financial assistance to business owners with this change, and that's something that we're working through now. Thank you for your time again, and appreciate your consideration.
Brian Barnett, followed by David Martinez.
Hi, I'm Brian Barrett. I represent Keystone Group, the major funder of Westside Village. I'm also a multi-year resident of District 9. Lived in Fort Worth most all of my adult life. I'd like to say we are not making this change for any sort of policy reason. It's nothing other than we are investing a large amount of money into this part of town to revitalize a big 37-acre section of Fort Worth. And our goal here is to do nothing but enhance this part of Fort Worth. We appreciate all of your effort, the city staff, city council, mayor. You know, we're looking forward to doing something great for the city, and that's the goal here. Thank you.
David Martinez will be followed by Adrian Smith. Is David here? No. Hi, David.
Good evening. I briefly spoke last week. I don't know if you can tell. Okay, well, my name is David Martinez. I'm Chiricahua Apache. I'm a descendant of Chief Geronimo. One of the things I want to speak about was last week I misspoke. I was under the understanding that a couple of the my fellow Native Americans that were Lakota that have business over there on White Settlement Road, I was under the understanding that they might be against it, but I misspoke and I apologize for that. But I do understand that $1.7 billion will go to taxes that helps our community. But here's another thing. After weighing in like, you know, Angelo's, you know, I don't want any businesses to close down in that neighborhood. And I'm not offended. To be honest with you, I'm more offended they wanted to take it away because not one Native American. So I post on Northside Facebook page and over 50,000 members. And I asked them, not one Native American was against this. I mean, was for changing the name. None of them, some of them thought this was very silly. And then a lot of them said the same thing that we thought. Like, this is the Band-Aid. This does not erase history. And if you take away the name, it does erase history. Just like for my Jewish people, we don't go and we don't destroy those gas chambers. They're a reminder of history to never do it again. If you want to erase history, because there are people who deny the Holocaust right now. There are people who are going to deny that we were never ever here. So speaking for my family, for all the other Native Americans that I've spoken to, all of us are against this. I have not met one Native American. And I go to all the powwows, I go to a lot of events. I'm very active in the Native American community. And I have not heard one from anybody saying, Mr. Martinez, I felt offended by that name and we should change it. Not one. And I'm talking about different tribes, not just Apache. I'm talking about Cherokee and Lakota, Comanches, Cherokee, all like many others. The Hopi tribe, many other tribes live here. And many of us, we want to keep history. We want to have that there. Now, I understand this a business, it's a business move, but this may impact the neighborhood also business-wise. But if you wanted to know my opinion as a Native American, This is part of history. This is not something we're going to erase. And this is not going to help any Native American. Thank you. God bless you.
Adrian Smith.
Adrian Smith, I am one with the people. To the business owners and those wanting to preserve the history that tells the story of the original naming of White Settlement Road, I hear you, but will they? I'm with you, but are they? What's said to be effective? First and foremost, thank you to the Fort Worth Report for the report you did on this, giving voice to this issue. Thank you. So there are 4 businesses, I'm just speaking to 4 businesses with a combined 238 years of service to the city of Fort Worth, its residents, and visitors. These particular business owners and their families' livelihoods will be affected, as well as the communities they serve and who rely on their services. The city just wants to make money, whatever can bring in a dollar more than what they got. That's what they want. That's what they want to do. City spokesperson Saina Saeed did not return requests for comment on the business owners' financial concerns. That is very disingenuous. Other business owners along the road said name change would force them to rebrand signs, advertisement, and business cards, as well as amend state and federal licenses. We know that the developers investing $1.7 billion into this project. They're going to pay the city's cost of $26,000 as it relates to renaming this. Well, we just heard the developer get up here and state that they're willing to offer concessions to the business owners. Some concessions, thank you. Some. But that shouldn't be up to the business developers' discretion to determine how much that is going to be, because these business owners have been there for years and years. To this city, before you all vote on this, because a lot of people don't know how this works, why not separate this particular agenda item out of this consent agenda, and let's hear every one of you speak to this particular agenda item as to why we should change this. Because I want people to know, when I get through speaking, when they cast the vote, once they cast this vote, it's done. So how about we separate this particular agenda item, Mayor, and let's vote on this. Let's see how all of you vote on this individually. How about we do that? So the people can see where you stand on this issue. And I want people of Fort Worth to know we don't have to wait to 2027. It seems like what we're saying is falling on deaf ears. That's try to recall option for some of these individuals. And let's aim at the top, starting with the mayor. Let's aim at the top, starting with the mayor.
Thank you, Adrian. Council, that's the conclusion of our speakers on the consent agenda. Councilmember Larsdorf.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want the record to reflect on MNC 250986 regard to the renaming of the portion of White Settlement Road. My vote on this particular item will be a no. However, my vote for the others will be a yes, as dictated to the city secretary.
Councilmember Blaylock.
So for me, the situation is the same. While I may vote yes for the consent agenda on the specific item MNC 25-0986, my vote is no, for the record.
Councilmember Nettles.
I have a question to our city attorney. Is that just ceremonial? Those.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Turn my mic off.
There you go.
Is that ceremonial what they're doing? Is that vote for all the consent items will be no? Is that correct on the record?
You should be on.
I'm not. Everything's on. Oh, you can hear. No, what they're saying is that their vote will be no just on the one item. So I think we had talked with the city secretary beforehand, and that was the best way for her to notate it on the minutes. So they're voting no on that one particular item. We can take it, if y'all would like to take it off and vote on it separately, we can also do that, either way.
Yeah, I wonder what the rules say. I don't, to me, we have never done that before. So to me, a no on the consent item is for every item on there,
Yeah, we can take it off.
unless they want to vote for the item.
It's not a standard practice, but it is a practice that has been used in other cities to leave an item on consent and record in the minutes individual um, objections to a specific item.
Do we have the rule available for us before we vote?
I don't know that your rules speak to that specifically, but again, we can take it off consent and just vote on it separately if that's what we need to do. It's not, I don't think it's going to change anything either way.
Councilmember Beck, I apologize. Did you go ahead? Try again. There we go.
Is it on now? Okay. My question is there any practical difference in taking it off consent or taking the vote as we are right now and noting that we've got 2 people who aren't supporting business in Fort Worth?
No, there's no difference.
Okay.
Okay. So to be clear, Adrian, please don't speak for the audience. Thank you for being here. If for clarity though, if there's an interest from a council member to move to pull this off the consent, we have to make that an official motion and go through that process. If there's not, then we need to keep proceeding with commentary. So I'll pause for a minute.
Yeah, it's me. I don't think we need to move it off. I think legally we should have been told in executive session that they can make a motion to vote on a consent agenda item to support everyone but one. That doesn't make sense to me. So if they want to take it off, they should take it off, or they're going to either vote no on every consent agenda item, or they're going to vote yes on it. The purpose for consent, if you take one vote for the whole thing, it doesn't make sense to me. And I can't stand here to agree to that.
Fair enough, noted. But just for clarity's purposes, you're not making a motion to pull this item off the consent agenda. You're just making a significant point that it doesn't make sense to you moving forward.
I don't think the rules should allow it. So, Leanna, you tell me the rules allow that? That's my real question.
Yeah.
I hear what secretary, but that's not the secretary office does not hold the Robert's Rule order nor the voting rules.
I don't know that your rules speak to it one way or the other, so it kind of gives you some flexibility to be able to do it.
Make sure you're in the microphone, Leanne. You can't hear you.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's on. It's just she's not in it.
Yeah, what I was saying was the rules don't speak to it specifically, which gives some flexibility to do it either way. So we can either do it the first way, or we can have someone make the motion to take it off the consent.
Okay. Councilmember Larsdorf.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just offered to my colleague that you'd have the same opportunity. If you've never heard of that before, you do exactly what I did, and that's talking to the city secretary beforehand and saying, how can we proceed? And the whole goal was to not drag something out and just allow more opportunity for more virtue signaling and more everything else. So it was really to streamline tonight's meeting, but more than happy to have the discussion. But my vote, which is not ceremonial, it will be on the record as a no for this particular item. That's it, plain and simple. And as a small business owner, Councilwoman Beck, I was offended by your statement. I am a small business owner. I have nothing against small business. A name change for me, I'd have to go through a lot of hoops, and I know some of my colleagues on council understand what it's like to have to change registered agent names in the systems. So it's not something I don't want to go through. But again, this isn't going to be my pupil tonight. I'm simply a no on this item, and feel free to coordinate with legal as you have and city secretary and future items if you have any questions on how processes work.
Councilmember Peoples.
Well, I'm just going to say that that's news to me too about the consent agenda, but at least I'm glad to know that going forward, I am able to vote no on items on the consent agenda.
Councilmember Hall.
Is the correct terminology vote? Is that, are we using that word correctly, technically? Is it a vote, or is it just an acknowledgement or a notation? I mean, is it actually a vote if we're not taking a vote? But I guess tonight, I don't understand. What is the difference on each time that we've done this, then people offering explanation on what they support or what they don't support or how they feel about a specific item, but we've never called it a vote before. It's just been anecdotal information, I don't know, about an item on the agenda. And for all the conversation we're having now, why not have made just a motion? It's two of you. Make a motion, second it, pull it off, let's vote, and let's move on.
So Councilmember Nettles.
Yeah, I just want to address one thing. The only person who's virtual signaling here, Charles, is you. Okay, you're choosing to not vote against an item because of whatever it is. You like the white settlement, that's fair and fine. But you're making a point. I will advise this council and this city that we cannot start changing the rules mid-decade so it can fit certain people such as Alan and Charlie Larders who wants a virtual signal on this dais.
Councilmember Larsdorf.
So we can change street names, but just not the rules. Got it. So it's a one size fits all for you, and it's got it. Okay. If you'd like, I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and remove item M&C 250986 from the consent item from the consent agenda to vote on it separately.
I've got a motion to remove MNC 250986 from the consent agenda. Got a second. So we actually have to vote to remove that, or that's enough based on council rules. Typically, a council member can bump something off beforehand. We don't vote to pull things off the consent agenda. Is that okay? Yeah, okay, so that's pulled off. So why don't we vote on the consent agenda first? So everybody's lights are gonna come off for a minute. We're voting on everything on the consent agenda except for MNC 250986. Let's do that first. So everybody, I'm gonna pull everybody's lights off because we got mics off and I can't call on people that way. Can I have a motion on the consent agenda? Got a motion and a second, thank you. Any other discussion on the consent agenda? Okay. We don't have to, because typically before a council meeting, any council member can pull things off through the city manager's office or council of city secretary's office. So we've moved forward there. It's pulled off officially by council members. So at this point now we're voting on the entire consent agenda except for MNC 25-0986. I've got a motion and a second on the floor. Any other discussion on the consent agenda? If
Mayor,
not,
can we clarify who made the motion for the?
Councilmember Larsdorf. Okay. To pull the item off, Councilmember Larsdorf did.
No, for the
Sorry.
consent.
Consent agenda. Macy and Michael. No problem. Got a motion and a second. Now we'll vote. Thank you. Okay, consent agenda passes. Okay, now we're going to go back to MNC 25-0986. Councilmember Beck.
Move to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Councilmember Hill? No? Okay, Councilmember Hill.
Thank you. I wanted to make a quick comment on this because I know it's contentious. Renaming sections of a city street to support redevelopment is nothing new. This request is similar to other street name changes associated with significant developments, including the very city hall that we sit in, the Stockyards, Clear Fork, Tarleton, and Bell. This is not a city council or city staff-led initiative, to be clear. This is a developer-initiated request filed by application on July 25th and really has followed all the appropriate procedures. This only affects the blocks of East University Drive to North Henderson. To also be clear, this does not affect the entire road of White Settlement. This decision, led by the developer, is a strategic placemaking initiative to formally define and elevate 37 acres and $1.7 billion dedicated to the West Side Village development. To address the small business issues, I have reached out to the Chamber of Commerce to request that they research small business grants and assistance that may be available both through private philanthropy and state funds to help address any issues existing businesses that encounter that front those blocks. And I want to say a special thank you to Keystone and Larkspur this evening for offering to help find assistance for those small businesses as well. It is much appreciated. This name change has absolutely nothing to do with politics and should not be used to sow dissension in our community. Thank you, Mayor, for the floor. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Hill. Any other comments from council at this point? Councilmember Martinez.
So my question is for the developer, if they could come up. You said you would offer some concessions to the businesses impacted. So what's that figure, if I may ask?
Do Carl and Brian want to come to the microphone? Thank you.
This is something we just started working on today in response to concerns from the businesses along the corridor. So it's not something we've figured out yet, but we discussed it really in the last few hours and something we're going to work on immediately. And we want the business owners to reach out to us directly to coordinate.
Any other questions, Councilmember Martinez? Try again, there we go.
Just would you commit to at least an average number of what any business would have to expend to make those name changes?
It's too early. We can't yet. This came up literally 3 hours ago, and it's something we haven't researched.
Thank you. Is there any other questions from council at this point? No? Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you. This time we have a motion and a second on the floor. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be announcements by city council members.
Councilmember Flores will be followed by Councilmember Larsdorf.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's get the first slide up. All right, on the top half, National Night Out. We all have them. We all went to several of them, great events, and particularly want to thank our new chief, Eddie Garcia, for coming out to the Northside Neighborhood Association event. He was very well received and got to meet a lot of people, so appreciate that from him, Chief. Thank you. All right, the bottom half, Cesar Chavez. Again, they are exceptional. Went to speak to their student council. They're excited to receive Molly pins, and they are paying attention to what council does. They're a very interesting bunch, and go Colts. So thank you for them. Next slide, please. All right, top half. The city hosted a celebration, recognized employees and partners who supported the transition of MedStar Mobile over to our current fire-based EMS system. And it's noteworthy that we take note of all those employees that made it happen, because it was a Herculean effort and it required a lot of hands on deck. So thank you, Mayor Parker, City Manager Champa, Dr. Jarvis, for all those acknowledged contributions. The bottom half, want to notate that I participated in the Tunnels to Towers 5K run and walk. I did a little bit of both. And I'd like to say that Mayor Parker and Councilwoman Hill are very fast on their feet. They lapped me, I think, at least once, but hey, good competition. So appreciate them being out there as well. Next slide, please. All right, Coffee with Cop. We attended at the DFW Car and Toy Museum. So thanks to QT, Fort Worth Stockyards Business Association, the Mark IV Business Association, and to Doc Kent, Code Blue, and the Northwest Police Department for making that happen. It's a great museum. You ought to check it out. Lots of cars. Bottom half right there. If you haven't noticed, there's a lot of interesting things going on West Exchange in the Stockyards. We're putting up an iconic sign, for the times to come. It's a ranch-style sign. It's going to span across West Exchange, right there in Finney and West Exchange. Ruth Hooker's there in the center of me, and that's noteworthy because she's a small business owner right there with Hooker's Grill, and she picked up the baton. This has been talked about for years, and picked up the baton and ran with it. And we made it happen through TIF 15 funding. So we're getting, all the members I think are welded by now, and the actual signage, decorative signage is going up soon. It will be ready for Red Steagle, I am told. So appreciation to everyone that made that happen. Next slide. All right, announcements. Trick or treat at the museum. This is the Fort Worth Aviation Museum. Dress in your costume and you get in free. You participate in crafts, Jeep rides, etc. So again, free is the operative word. You can get to see a lot of terrific planes. Also, Trunk or Treat. Have an event going on there Saturday, October 25th at the Northside Community Center. Again, bring your costumes, have some fun with food, music, merriment, and we'll see you there. That's all I have.
Councilor Larsdorf.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Here we go. Upcoming events, we have our 2026 bond meeting. That will be held, I'm sorry, can we go back one? There we go. At Parkwood Hill Intermediate School on Thursday, October 30th at 6 p.m. So if you're in District 4, please come out to that to discuss the upcoming bond and provide your input so we can help shape that. Next slide. All right, Summer Glen Birthday Bash. Come out and celebrate Summer Glen's 25th birthday. Proudly, we ranked number 3 for the summer reading program, which was pretty outstanding. So come out and join us on November 8th between 11:30 and 2 at Summer Glen Library. And I believe that's it.
Sorry, restroom break. Councilmember Peoples.
Council and friends, thank you. Tonight, rather than tell you about the 16 events we made for the National Night Out, or the wonderful town halls we've been hosting, or the 5 district events that I made on Saturday in the rain, and they're the reason for my cold, tonight I think it is more important to speak about an organization and its founder where I serve on the board of directors. Tonight, I'm going to talk about Southside Community Gardens. Southside Community Gardens is an inspiring initiative that addresses a critical need in our community: access to fresh, healthy produce. In neighborhoods where food deserts are prevalent, this organization plays a vital role in not just growing food, but also in cultivating hope and empowerment. The gardens currently maintain 80 gardens, and on our recent build day, we revitalized 20 of those gardens. They increase access to fresh produce and empower transformational healing in a community impacted by food apartheid. Southside Gardens is more than a project. It's a living, breathing example of what it means to nurture, to empower, and to rebuild community from the ground up. So, to Patrice Jones, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. I apologize for the ways in which you have not felt safe, seen, or supported. Your voice deserves to be heard. Your presence deserves to be respected, and your leadership, especially your work at Southside Gardens, is both needed and necessary. When we speak of building community, we cannot build on top of broken trust. We must do the work of repair. That means being honest about harm and intentional about healing, and courageous enough to center those who are too often pushed to the margins. To Black women in your space, your leadership, your labor, and your life matters. You are not invisible, and you should never have to bear the burden of change alone. I hope my words to you tonight don't just resonate. I hope they result in something real. A turning point, a moment of reckoning, a commitment from all of us to do better, to be better, and to protect and uplift each other. Southside Community Gardens is a sterling example of what healing can and does look like, and I am proud to serve on your board of directors.
Councilmember Dr. Hall.
Actually, Mayor, she pulled hers at the last.
Oh, okay, no worries. Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you. All right, what you see is the Harambe Festival. Had an awesome time at the McDonald's YMCA, coming together and believing in freedom and hope. We have a lot of young kids that did the choir. We had the band, Eastern Hills High School marching band. They had a health fair on the inside. They checked my blood pressure, and it was extremely high. Thank you, city. Next page, please. Trinity Metro Area Job Fair. Had opportunity to spend time with Robert Stearns, Black Chamber, Trinity Metro. Again, Dr. Metzer, who's with us today at Texas Wesleyan University. I can't remember the number, but it was somewhere in the thousands of those who visit the job fair. Next slide. National Night Out, Glencrest, Hillside, the Light of the Church, Polytech Heights Neighborhood, and World Church. So many opportunities to speak and connect with residents. It was a wonderful time on Tuesday. Next slide more slides of where we were in District 8. The next slide was opportunity to spend with our city council at the Port Worth, the party. Next slide. We had the Highland Hills Breast Cancer Annual Parade. Next slide, please. The Highland Hills Annual Breast Cancer Parade in Highland Hills, led by our friend Yolanda, as well as the Highland Hills Neighborhood Association. We left there and went to the Tay Day Parade. I want to take the opportunity as well to thank our new chief. I know he's not here tonight, and our commander and all of the Fort Worth Police Department who have annually each year participated in support of the Tatiana Day, the Tatiana Parade, Citizen Patrol, as well as others. And so really appreciate the support that the city of Fort Worth gives her legacy and her family and the nephews. Thank you again for that. Next slide. United Black Contractors Annual Founders Day. Are we a slide behind, guys? Am I going too fast? Okay.
There we are.
Thank you. United Black Contractors Annual Founders Day, honoring Fred Rouse and other City of Fort Worth participation with Tammy Pierce, doing a fantastic job with making sure that Black contractors not only get work in the City of Fort Worth, but in Dallas and the surrounding areas. Randa Howard is there as well. Next slide. Had opportunity to sit with Mr. Charles, Dr. Charles with UGM, with a conversation on the bench discussing homelessness. I really appreciate the work that my fellow council woman is doing. I can never remember your name when I say, I know. Macy Hill, and as well as the work is our mayor is doing with homelessness. Guys, we're doing things, you may not see it, but we're really working with our different groups to establish residency in the Fort Worth. Next slide. Had opportunity to be joined at the Presbyterian Night Shelter ribbon cutting on Crowley Road, was joined by Michael Crane. He also had one this morning in his district, making sure we provide housing for all our communities. Next slide. We have a few announcements. You can see there on there, the Sparks Entertainment 3-day conference gala. We also have the TCC Trinity Kimbrell Arts Museum conference, as well as we have the bond meeting October 27, 2025. And then I think we have a special announcement that's going to be happening for Stephanie's. Let me see if I can pull it up on my, so I can read it off. Shh, I got it. Thank you. Please don't do it. Stephanie, Jamaica's Kitchen is going to be Saturday at 1409. She's celebrating 5 years. I will tell you, she has really great food. We're doing so much on Evans Avenue, so please stop by, get you some Jamaican food, and enjoy your day. Thank you. Those are my announcements.
Councilmember Beck? Sorry, Elizabeth, that's her.
Okay, just to recap, was a great weekend full of festivals throughout District 9, both with the Michelada Festival that you heard about earlier, but also Arts Goggle. That is, I do not recall what year we were in, but that is a event that takes up all of Magnolia from 8th Avenue all the way to Main Street, and it's completely volunteer run. So great job from the folks at Near South Side for putting that on once again. Next slide. Okay, coming up, we have the Dia de los Muertos Block Party November 1st at the Fire Station Community Center, and we have our upcoming bond meeting November 10th at 6 p.m. at University Christian Church, and I believe that's it. Oh, I lied. All right. The next one is the YMCA Turkey Trot. Their route is going to be a little different this year. So if you live in and around downtown or the West 7th area, please pay attention. We're trying to do our best to get the information out to folks so that you are not inconvenienced at the morning of Thanksgiving. You will also not be inconvenienced if you decide to get up and run. If you do, let me know. I'll wave at you. And I think that might be the next last slide. Oh, no. All right, here we go. I don't have you can tell I don't have my cheat sheet with me today. Firefighter Chili Cook-Off is this weekend. I hope you'll come down and join us, taste some really great chili, but also all the proceeds go to the firefighters benefit fund that they use to help victims of fire and fellow firefighters. And I think that's it. There we go.
Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you, Mayor. So just a few announcements. The District 11 2026 bond meeting will take place on Wednesday, November 8th, 10 a.m. It's going to be at the Riverside Community Center this year. I encourage residents to attend to learn about the bond program, contribute to the process, and provide their feedback. Next slide. So we also have some family-friendly events coming up in the district, hosted by our various community centers. On October 24th, Andrew Dock Sessions and Riverside Community Centers will host trunk-or-treat events along with other family activities. And you can see the times there. Most of them start at 6. Actually, Riverside starts at 5 and Andrew Dock Sessions at 6. On October 25th, Worth Heights is also hosting their trunk-or-treat event, and that starts, that's actually from 4 to 7 p.m. So next slide. On Halloween night, Victory Forest Community Center will host a haunted house where you encounter the curse of the 3 glowing orbs. So that's a little different. So that's from 7 to 9 p.m. At Victory Forest. And we also have Dia de los Muertos celebration on November 1st. And that's also going to be at Victory Forest Community Center. That's from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And a lot of these community centers are accepting donations for candy. So if y'all have some extra candy you want to get rid of, please contribute to these various community centers. And then also, Hanley will be hosting its annual craft fair on Saturday, November 1st. That's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that is going to be at the Caboose located at 1001 South Hanley Drive. They are looking for vendors. So if you're interested, please connect with that organization. And I believe that is all that I have for today. Thank you.
Council, that's the conclusion of our presentations.
Mayor, that gets us to non-consent agenda speakers.
Thank you. Our first is Bob Willoughby, followed by Derica Patterson.
Well, you can't read it yet, but okay. See, the resolutions, all this used to be on the screen so you know what we're talking about. You changed that, Maddie. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. We can't understand what's going on, what you're voting on, or anything. Anyway, this is Resolution 255513, Baker and Hostler Law Firm. The question I have here is, was there other law firms considered for this spot, or is this the only one? The other question I have, is this the same law firm? It's used for outside. I wonder what outside business do you need lawyers for? Is that like when you fired the police chief and used the firm and paid is this the one you paid $2 million to, I'm talking about
Yeah, it's
Police
the
Chief
same.
Fitzgerald. There's a
It doesn't have
law
anything
firm.
to
I want to
do
know if
with
it's the
this
same one.
particular law firm.
Is this the same one?
Just keep going,
Paid
Bob.
$5.5 million to Fitzgerald? No? Or a different one? That's all. I'm just trying to find out if it's the same law firm. That's all. You can't ask that question? 'Cause I didn't know if it's the same law firm or not. But see, my case against the city, you're using the local lawyers against me. I'm filing for the election to be overturned. It's the same one. And it seems like the same lawyers that you're using on me would be the same lawyers for outside or for when you fire somebody. That should be normal throughout history. We've always fired people. Your lawyers, your local lawyers ought to know how to handle that. But I never heard of that firing someone and giving them $5.5 million. That is insane. But nevertheless, Maddie, until you take back what you said about me, you're a
Again,
two-faced liar.
Thank you, okay. Derica Patterson. Ms. Patterson will be followed by Eric King.
All right. So, I'm a homeowner and I'm the president of the Rainbow Ridge HOA in District 6. And I want to speak about MNC 25-0959, the $1,099,132 development fee waiver for the Trinity Habitat for Humanity Garden Springs development. I support affordable housing and the opportunity for families to achieve home ownership, but what we continue to see in District 6 is a pattern of one-sided development. Homes are being built and incentivized, but the infrastructure, schools, and public resources never catch up. If we're serious about creating mixed income and equitable neighborhoods, then equity must include adequate school staffing, well-maintained roads, safe sidewalks, parks with lighting. If you were here last week, you know about that. And our community is not interested in being overpopulated and underdeveloped. We don't want residents to move in and move out quickly or find somewhere else to find a quality of life because we are underdeveloped. I would like to ask for clarity on what exactly the pilot program entails as worded in the agenda. I know Habitat for Humanity to help moderate income working families achieve home ownership, which again I support. But if this version is different or targets a low income bracket, the community deserves to understand how it fits into the city's overall housing strategy. Regardless, I believe that before we allocate more than or relieve more than $1 million in fee waivers, we should ensure the basic infrastructure and public resources are already in place. In our area, schools are overcrowded and understaffed, sidewalks and roads are deteriorating or non existent, and families have nowhere locally to gather or engage. Without these essential investments, family will move in with hope and move out quickly with disappointment. That doesn't build longevity, it builds turnover. Also, to Carl and Brian, we're not gonna give y'all any pushback if y'all come develop in District 6. So reach out to Dr. Mia Hall because that's the type of development we need down there. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Eric King, followed by Jasmine Trimble.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Eric King. I'm a lifelong Fort Worth resident and property owner. I am here today to oppose the proposed Habitat for Humanity project. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight at this event. First, I want to be clear, I fully support efforts to help families get a fair start in life and to provide safe, decent housing. However, the location and long-term impact of this particular development raises serious concerns for many residents, including myself. In recent years, we've already seen a growing number of homes in our area accepting Section 8 housing vouchers. These are not older or rundown properties. Many of them are brand new, recently built homes. I find it appalling that as taxpayers, we are now subsidizing Section 8 housings and brand new developments, while so many existing neighborhoods across Fort Worth continue to decline. While the intention behind these programs is good, the reality has been an increase in nuisance activity, property neglect, and traffic that simply wasn't here before. It has created strain on local resources and changed the character of our community. Introducing another low income housing development will only magnify these issues. History has shown us that concentrated pockets of low income housing tend to bring unwanted activity and instability to otherwise stable neighborhoods. Over time, it affects safety, aesthetics, and overall sense of pride residents have in their homes. There also is the issue of property value. Every study and every local example points to the same conclusion. When high density and subsidized developments are placed within established residential areas, surrounding home values decline. For those of us who have invested time, effort, and money into maintaining our properties, that's a real and lasting loss. I've personally seen this happen before in previous Habitat for Humanity projects. What started as with optimism has now become an area of disrepair. Homes not maintained, yards overgrown, community standards that have steadily declined. We can't ignore that track record. I am not saying we shouldn't help families in need, but let's start somewhere. Let's be smart about where and how we do it. Fort Worth has older neighborhoods, such as parts of East Side, that would greatly benefit from revitalization. If we truly want to uplift people, why not rehab existing homes, improve these communities, and raise values citywide instead of lowering them here? The remodeling of these existing homes would not only uplift these communities, but it would also be more cost effective and productive than starting new developments from scratch. In closing, I urge the council to consider the long term consequences of this proposal.
Thank you, Mr. King. Our next speaker is Jasmine Trimble, followed by Gage Yeager.
Good evening. Hello, Mayor,
council people. My name is Jasmine Trimble. I'm a homeowner in District 6. I would like to state that more concise agenda would be appreciated and necessary if you truly want to hear from the community. I rise today to speak against M&C 25-0959, the authorization to waive development-related fees up to $1.1 million for the Garden Springs Affordable Housing Development under the proposed Housing Affordability Strategy Incentives Pilot Program. Let me begin by saying that I fully support the goal of helping families find safe, stable housing. However, the proposal is not the right way to accomplish that goal. The issue before us is not compassion, it's accountability, fairness, fiscal responsibility. Development-related fees exist for a reason. They help cover the real costs that new projects impose on city services: infrastructure, utilities, public safety, and inspections. Waiving these fees doesn't make those costs disappear. It simply transfers them to existing taxpayers. In essence, we are asking the public to subsidize a private development with limited evidence that the benefits will be distributed fairly or maintained over time. Moreover, approving a waiver of this magnitude, $12,491 per home, totaling over $1.1 million, sets a problematic precedent. Once the door is opened, other developers will expect the same treatment, further eroding the revenue base that supports essential services and future infrastructure. There's also a broader economic concern that must be acknowledged. Numerous studies and real estate analysis have shown that when affordable or subsidized housing is introduced into established neighborhoods without adequate planning or integration, it can lead to depressed surrounding property values. Having these types of developments been proposed and approved in areas like, have these types of developments been proposed and approved in areas like Tanglewood, Rivercrest, or Fairmount? I bet not, because they wouldn't dare have their property values decrease or be open to any level to bring a program like this near their neighborhood. This isn't about stigmatizing residents. It's about recognizing how markets respond to concentrated affordability projects. Homeowners who have invested their life savings into their properties may face declining equity, which can have ripple effects on the neighborhood stability and tax revenues. Additionally, the proposed claims adequate controls are in place to ensure the public purpose is met, yet those controls have not been clearly outlined. How long will these homes remain affordable? What safeguards will prevent resale or conversion to market rate housing? Without clear oversight, we ask giving away public funds without securing a lasting public benefit. Finally, waiving fees is a temporary and unsustainable fix. If we are serious about housing affordability, we need to pursue long-term policy solutions, zoning reform, density bonuses, land banking, and partnerships that ensure permanent affordability, not one-time waivers that undermine physical discipline and neighborhoods' confidence. In conclusion, I urge the
Thank
council
you.
to
Our
vote
next
against the
speaker is Gage
proposal.
Jaeger.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, for considering this. I'm Gage Yeager, CEO, Trinity Habitat for Humanity. Appreciate working closely with all you guys up here to do what we do and make our city a great place. Appreciate the people coming out and voicing their concerns. Always happy to hear any opinion about what we're up to. Garden Springs, 88 homes, 20 acres, cost to us a little over $20 million. I appreciate your all's willingness to consider a public-private partnership as we try to figure out how not to lose home ownership for the essential workforce that is our city, right? And you guys did the study not too long ago that said, what, 60% could afford the median home 10 years ago, and now it's like 20%. So it's going away fast, and we have to come up with creative public-private ways to do that, and I appreciate your consideration to partner with that. Home ownership is powerful. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, looking at you, my friends up there. But you know it's powerful. What it does for children, for schools, for neighborhoods, it drops crime. Property values go up because of home ownership. And if we're going to commit dollars, let's commit dollars to the home ownership, to the families that are actually buying it, which to me feels a lot better than to the developers. And so let's focus them, because every dollar is valuable. We have deed restrictions, concerns about losing affordability going forward. We have deed restrictions that control that. Somebody mentioned Section 8. This is not Section 8. You guys know that, but not everybody knows that. We've built in numerous neighborhoods that the prices have gone up such that after we built 10, 20, 30, 50, 90 homes in specific neighborhoods, we can't afford to build there anymore because we're priced out. which is the opposite of saying if you're building homes the way we build, the price goes down. NES waivers, right? So this is really the city council taking the NES waivers, the neighborhood empowerment zones, and extending it to this area. So this is not a new thing to do. The city's been doing this for decades, presumably. So it's fee waivers to help partner and bring the dream of home ownership. We all know it, real estate prices are going crazy. You want to live in a world where we're separating the haves from the have-nots even more? No, we don't. We don't want to separate the have from the have-nots more. Building equity, building value in your home is the great equalizer, right? You have a piece of the American dream. That's how you do it. Home ownership is the great equalizer. I appreciate you guys' time. I will say we go through 20 hours of financial education for our families. We do a criminal background check, and we have a 2.5% foreclosure rate. The program works. Thank you for your consideration.
That's the conclusion of our non-consent agenda speakers.
Our next item, Mayor, will be 25-5509, board appointments from the mayor.
Thank you. Council, I'd like to request your consideration to appoint the following individuals to the board below. Gwendolyn Harper, first term for UDC. I'd like to request your consideration to reappoint the following individuals to the respective boards, terms effective October 21st, 2025 through October 1st, 2027, with the exception that Building Standards Commission, which actually expires on September 30th, 2027. Marcia Capelcha on the third term for Aviation Advisory Board. David Castle, second term Building Standards Commission. Caroline Kranz, second term City Plan Commission. Melissa Scott, Library Advisory Board. Elizabeth Waddell, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Matt Dufresne, Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee. And Rodney Mayo, Zoning Commission and Alliance Airport Zoning Commission. The respective applications and resumes are available upon request, and original copies will maintain in the City Secretary's office. Motion is second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is 25-5504, board appointments from District 4.
Thank you, Mayor. Request your consideration to appoint the following individual to the board below with a partial term effective October 21st, 2025, ending October 1st, 2026. Jeffrey Balby for partial term, the Community Development Council. Respective application and resume are available upon request. The original copies will be maintained in the City Secretary's office.
Second. A motion is second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is 25-5505, board appointments from District 11.
Councilor Martinez.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, I request your consideration to appoint the following individuals to their respective boards with a term effective October 21st, 2025 and ending October 1st, 2027. Carmen Castro, first term, Zoning Commission and Fort Worth Alliance Airport Zoning Commission. Martin Risher, first term, City Planning Commission. The respective application and resumes are available upon request. The original copies will be maintained in the City Secretary's office.
Motion second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be 25-5506, at-large appointments from the Urban Design Commission.
Thank you, Jeanette. This is specific to the Urban Design Commission appointment for Jesus Sanchez, first term, alternate 1, UDC, and reappointment of Gareth Harrier, third term, alternate 3, UDC. Respective applications and resumes are available in the City Secretary's office. Motion is second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is 25-5507, at-large appointment for the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee.
Thank you, Jeanette. The following appointments beginning October 21st, 2025 through October 1st, 2027 to the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee are as follows. Ms. Rosemary Lindsay, first term, place 1 vet. Ms. Rachel Cope, first term, place 3 animal shelter worker. Ms. Lauren Walker, first term, place 5 citizen. Ms. Cindy Bowling, place 7 citizen. Actually, I think those are supposed to be reversed for the record. Lauren Walker is place 7, I think, but Ms. Tracell Strong, first term, place 9 citizen, and appointments from October 21st, 2025 through October 1st, 2026. Ms. Christina Valentine, partial term, place 2 municipal official position. Ms. Amy Amber Beard, partial term, place 4 animal welfare organization position. Ms. Lynn Gibson, partial term, place 6 citizen, and Mr. Franz Akhtar, partial term, place 8 citizen. And all resumes and applications are available in the City Secretary's office. Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is 25-5508, board appointments from the Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee.
Thank you, Jeanette. Per the ordinance number 27911-08-2025, the following are for our consideration. Russell Fuller, Place 3, Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee, Water and Wastewater. Ricky Trice, Position 5, Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee, Water, Wastewater. And Don Allen, Place 7, Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee, Water and Wastewater. And once again, respective applications and resumes are available in the City Secretary's office. Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is 25-5512.
Motion and a second, Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is 25-5513.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be MNC 25-0832. And Mayor, I believe we have speakers.
Yes, we do. Councilmember Nettles, I was going to call on you first on this item before we proceed with speakers.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to ask if Rich can come up. Is he here? Or our city attorney?
LaShondra Stringfellows also might be here. I don't know if that's helpful to you.
Development Services. Someone's coming, okay. All right, this is our annex case that we're talking about in the zoning change. And so I just wanted to kind of clarify a couple of things up front. I know we have a lot of speakers and we have dealt with this case for a little bit now. And I think it's important that we articulate a few things before we take the vote and hear from speakers. And so this is the annex case where the city has required to provide water and sewer. And so if we do not annex this property into the city of Fort Worth, that's what the vote is today, would the city still be required to provide sewer and water?
Yes.
And not, go ahead.
Sorry, yes, that is correct. There is a pre-development agreement where the city, in exchange for annexation, agreed to provide sewer and water services for this property and for the type of development that they're proposing in their zoning case.
Okay, I think my friend just walked in. You come on down, but Melinda's here. And so with that, if we say, for instance, hypothetically, we don't allow this annexation and zoning, we'll be providing water and sewer without receiving a tax base from this.
That's correct, and they will be able to develop what they are currently proposing.
All right. And if I'm not mistaken, development has already started.
I'll defer to Rich to handle
Thank you.
That is correct, sir. They've graded the property. It appears that they have also begun construction of the roadways internal to the development.
Okay, can you give us a little bit high level of what takes place after today, if in fact it is approved? What happens at a platting process to making sure the roads are dealt with, some of the concerns of the neighborhood, the signal light, just a little high level?
Sure. They've already been through the plat process. Both the preliminary plat was approved back in September of 2022. The final plat went to the City Plan Commission in January of 2025. That was conditionally approved by the Plan Commission. So that just means they may have a certain items that they need to finalize with that final plat, and that could include construction of all the public infrastructure necessary to support their development. That would have included a traffic impact analysis and a stormwater study that the city staff reviewed and accepted as being compliant with our requirements.
And Development Services, been working with TxDOT on the signal.
That is correct, sir. So my understanding is that TxDOT is requiring a signal at FM 1187 and Redbird Lane. And then the development services staff are continuing discussions with the developer regarding what Redbird Lane should look like, what improvements would be necessary along Redbird Lane.
Okay, and I think one of the last concerns, the neighborhood is asking for a left turn. And I know we haven't completely dissolved that problem yet, but we're still ongoing with trying to figure out how we get the left turn signal.
Yes, sir. So at that intersection of 1187 and Redbird, my understanding is the Development Services Department is requesting that the developer install a left turn lane there to support those turning movements off of Redbird onto 1187, and is in discussions with the developer about that.
Okay. I think they may be all my questions, and I just want to kind of highlight for this council, it's important that we have a development that is taking place on 1187, already in process. We have an option to annex them into the city of Fort Worth and receive tax base off of the project that they built. Or we cannot annex them and they're going to build a project anyway. The other hindsight is to understand is that when we do annex, they become required to our zoning plan. And so our building standards, we get to kind of make sure that they build according to the city of Fort Worth to be good neighbors to our neighbors in Burleson and around surrounding area. And so I kind of wanted to put that up front today. Today, it's not the end of the process. It's not the end of the road. It's just the beginning. And the city of Fort Worth is dedicated to making sure that we are good neighbors. And TxDOT worked with the city of Fort Worth to provide for the neighborhood. And so today, I really want to move to approve. And I'm doing this ahead because I want to kind of let this council know what we're up against to make sure that we receive the tax base as well as can determine how things are built with the building permits. I don't know if anybody else have any questions for Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Councilmember Nettles. There are no questions, additional questions at this time. I'll move to our first speaker, Susan Schomburg, followed by Lori Martin.
My name is Susan Schomburg. I live in the Redbird neighborhood, and I thank you for your opportunity to speak with you all this evening. September 22, we received our first notice of a council commission meeting. This was our first time we expressed our concerns. Then I began communicating with anyone and everyone I could in order to obtain more information about this development. I want to add that there are 10 properties along the border of this development, and no one received any notification from the development. We submitted signed letters to your offices and to the city secretary stating that fact. I've spent the last 3 years emailing, calling, and texting various government agencies in order to get some answers to our questions. I have been in touch with county leaders and city staff. I have reached out to our state representative and senator asking for help. I have been in contact with TxDOT. I have left no stone unturned, and yet we still don't have answers to our questions. The county has been helpful and gone above and beyond any other agency in helping us navigate this process. This has been more than frustrating, being told that I need to call this person or that person to get answers, only to be told to call yet another person and still not get any answers. I want you to know that I am not deterred by those responses and will continue to call, email, and show up to meetings in order to get the answers we need and deserve. We sent the developer questions via email recently, adding a couple council members per their request, and quite frankly, the response we received was dismissive and lazy, barely providing any real information. We resubmitted those questions, and we have yet to receive any further response. We invited them to a neighborhood meeting on October 7th. No one attended. We know that there is something very wrong with the way this pre-development agreement was handled by the city. The lack of communication and transparency should be alarming to you and to your constituents. The city of Fort Worth has done the residents of Redbird neighborhood a huge disservice, and to the future constituents of the Parks of Village Creek. The city of Fort Worth has put us in danger, which we have stated to everyone involved in this development. The development will impede emergency vehicles, create significant concerns about flooding, and will add dangerous amounts of more traffic to 1187. What you will hear tonight, we live on a 100-year floodplain that the developer says no longer exists. I'm sorry, but they must be kidding. 1187 has no turn lanes. It's 55 miles an hour, and there's a hill that blocks view and traffic, and a traffic study that was done during the height of the pandemic, so should be null and void because no one was on the roads in 2022. Redburn Lane is a small 18-foot road and cannot accommodate two full-size trucks passing at the same time, yet alone 400 more vehicles. And the developer is taking a giant leap from agriculture to multifamily without proper infrastructure in place. And I will end with this. Fort Worth has signed a pre-development agreement, and we know the development is going in. Honestly, it's almost already in. We do not oppose the zoning to A5 single-family homes for the 60 acres, which is being heard tonight. We insist that the council protect the safety of future constituents and us, and amend this agreement to reflect the entirety of the land for zoned A5, meaning all 101 acres, and to conduct another traffic study on 1187 before any more work continues. And as of Friday, October 17th, TxDOT has told us a new traffic study is going to be required. Redbird neighborhood will not be annexed into the city of Fort
Thank
Worth.
you, Susan. Our next speaker is Lori Martin, followed by Darren Plowman.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Lori Martin. I live at 2532 Mockingbird Road in Burleson. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'm here as a concerned resident of our neighborhood, a place many of us have called home for years, if not decades. A place where our streets are narrow, our air is usually clean, and our community is filled with people who look out for each other, especially our elderly neighbors. That's why I'm raising serious concerns about the proposed development in our area. While development may bring economic opportunities, it cannot come at the cost of health and safety. I want to mention that the reason we moved here from California in 2017 is for health and safety for our family, so our children could play in the front yard without fears that we had in California. First and foremost, our streets were not built for heavy construction or other traffic. They're small, quiet, and already difficult for emergency vehicles to navigate. I urge you to consider what happens when large trucks, construction equipment, or even increased traffic block or slow down an ambulance or fire truck for our elderly and mobility impaired residents. Every second of an emergency counts. A delay could be the difference between life and death. In addition, there is a school bus stop on the corner of Redbird and Mockingbird, which poses more risk to our children with the influx of traffic and construction vehicles, which, by the way, are not supposed to be on the road, but are. Secondly, we must talk about air quality. The construction has brought dust, debris, and diesel exhaust particles that linger in the air and pose serious health risks, especially for our seniors, children, and anyone with asthma or respiratory issues. We are being asked to absorb this impact without any guarantees or monitoring. And finally, this isn't just about health, it's about dignity. Our older residents have worked hard their whole lives to live in peace and safety. They deserve streets they can walk on without fear, air they can breathe, and access to emergency services when they need them most. Development should enhance our lives, not endanger them. We ask decision makers and developers to pause, reevaluate, and come up with a plan that prioritizes health, safety, and access before it's too late. Thank you for your time.
Darren Plowman, followed by Chad Brantley.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Darren Plowman, and I am also a resident of the Redbird neighborhood. And I'm here in opposition to this development that's known as the Parks of Village Creek. As I'm sure you're aware, 1187 is a state-controlled corridor that is already at failing levels. If we consider the 2022 traffic study, it showed key intersections already operating at level of service E at capacity, and even F, overcapacity conditions, with long delays and frequent backups. This does not even cover current conditions. Add to this, in an email this week, we were informed by TxDOT engineers that they will not accept the traffic study and will be in touch with city planners on the scope of a new traffic study that they will require. The current 2022 is outdated, and it does not address the current status out there. Should you choose to allow this project to move forward at the pace that is requested by this developer, it will drastically outpace the ability of regional stakeholders and their capacity to effectively manage the impacts on the area infrastructure. This project could add at a minimum of 60 to 150 new peak hour trips directly onto 1187. And this does not even address the added issues for Redbird Lane. This is a very narrow county-maintained road, and it was never designed to handle the level of traffic this development will place on it. And to date, we have not seen any plans to expand or update Redbird Lane to handle the additional traffic. We must also consider the regional ripple effects. 1187 is a highly congested regional corridor serving commuters from across Johnson and Tarrant counties. Additional bottlenecks here will only slow residents in the immediate area, but also push congestion into surrounding arteries and connector roads that are already strained. Without a coordinated infrastructure upgrades, this project will compound existing problems across the region and not just within the city of Fort Worth. I conclude by pointing out that this is not just a land use decision, it is an infrastructure decision tied directly to both annexation and rezoning. Without a binding plan and timeline for TxDOT improvements, adding more housing at this pace would guarantee more congestion, more delays, and more safety risks for the traveling public. For this reason, I respectfully urge the council to deny this request until there's a comprehensive traffic solution in place. Thank you for your time.
Kim Brantley, followed by Nikki Slobin. I'm sorry. Just kidding, Chad. Come on down. I didn't intend to do that. I was overly zealous with my check marks. Chad will be followed by Kim Brantley, and then Nikki Slobodin.
The reaction behind you when you went through your list of things that you have worked on, conversations you've had, were they aware of these studies that have been done, and did they have access to them? Were they able to go through and read all this information prior to today's meeting? Because the reaction suggests that this is all news to them.
Understood. And based on some of the residents that are on Redbird, have you guys had a town hall meeting with them to discuss some of their concerns?
I'm not aware of any meetings that have happened.
I believe one concern the residents, the neighboring residents expressed that you did not address was their lack of information and lack of understanding of the plan. And while I'm sure you followed all appropriate ways to notify everyone, you know, the notice processes are complex. And I'm wondering, would you agree to meet with the residents who showed up today and help them get the information that you already have and open up and establish a line of communication so they can further bring concerns to you and hopefully work some things out before it gets to the city council or the next step?
I believe the developer is willing to share any sort of construction plans, site studies associated with the case prior to it going to city council in September.
Yes, but my question is, would you agree to meet with them after this meeting to help them get that information so they can be prepared?
I'm more than willing to share my contact information with anyone who requests it so that I can get them the information they want.
So you see the opposition, right?
Yes, sir.
So you haven't had a meeting with these folks directly. And I'm talking about gather them together and say, hey, this is what we're planning to do. Because you know, you need to get your community buy-in, right? They don't want what they're saying. They don't want apartments. They want single-family homes there. And I can understand 1187 because I've gone down that road and the traffic's terrible. And the more you add to it, and they're not going to widen it anytime soon by the state, you need to try to get some kind of buy-in with the folks you're going to be dealing with here. I don't see that. I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. I'm going to say, since District 8 is not here,
The Planning and Zoning Commission urged the developer to meet with neighbors. We've sent repeated requests. We're still waiting. Their zoning application that I've provided you has inaccurate notification. They checked the wrong box. Councilman Nettles, we've sent a lot of requests. We'd still love to meet with you as well. We deserve honesty and transparency. Thank you to each of you that met with
Thank
us
you,
and
Mr.
have
Brantley.
reached out, and we stand with us. God bless.
Kim Brantley is up next, followed by Nikki Slobodin.
This is so scary.
I've never done this before. I'm used to talking to elementary kids. I was a PE teacher, and I want to make y'all stand up so bad and stretch and wake you up. But I'll just leave y'all be, and I'll be quick and I'll be short. My name is Kim Brantley. Good evening, Mayor Maddie, and council members. I live at 6935 Redbird Lane, directly across from this proposed development site. My husband and I, we have a front row seat to everything that's happening there in front of us. I spent the last 17 years of my teaching career as a coach and PE teacher in Crowley ISD at North Crowley High School, Parkway Elementary, and Deer Creek Elementary. During the summers when I was a high school teacher, I taught driver's education. Most stressful job ever. So teaching safety and preventing accidents has been a lifelong priority for me. So tonight I want to speak about the one issue, the safety, specifically the dangers of the cars turning from Redbird Lane onto the 1187. Every single time someone leaves our home, friends, family, church members, delivery drivers, we always tell them, be careful when you pull out on 1187, it's dangerous, there's a lot of cars. And you cannot safely see westbound traffic coming over the hill where they want to put that traffic light because cars fly so fast above highway speed. There's no room for error. And as a driver's ed instructor, I taught students how to judge speed and distance. But at this intersection, even skilled drivers are forced to take blind risk. Now add hundreds of more cars a day from a dense development. That doesn't just add traffic, it multiplies risk. It increases impatience, risky gaps, and collisions. And the people who will suffer mostly are the most vulnerable. Our elderly neighbors who don't have the reaction time that they once did, the young teenage drivers who are still learning to judge, families that are pulling out with kids in their car from me who I teach swim lessons in the summer, and every one of us who calls the Redbird Mockingbird home. Progress should never come at the expense of public safety, yet that is exactly what is being asked of our neighborhood, to accept danger as a condition of development. We are not against growth, we are against unsafe growth. So I'm asking you to please do not approve any development at this location until a real engineered traffic solution is designed and funded to make this intersection safe. When you drive home tonight, I hope you will remember this. Every turn onto 1187 from Redbird is a gamble we should not have to take. Thank you. Now get up and stretch.
Thank you, Kim. Nikki Slobodin is up next.
Mayor, she has a group representative.
That's great. Thank you.
So I believe it's 6 minutes?
Yes, it is, correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I also have a PowerPoint presentation that I submitted prior.
Sure they have it.
Okay, there we go. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. My name is Nikki Slobodin. I'm a longtime resident of the Fort Worth ETJ, having lived in the Redbird neighborhood for the past 17 years. I would like to thank all council members and their staff, as well as city staff who have answered our questions over the past 2 months. With special thank you to council members Beck, Hill, Peoples, and Crane for taking the time to speak with us personally. My neighbors and I would like to have our concerns recorded regarding the owner-initiated pre-annexation agreement between the parks at Village Creek and the city of Fort Worth, and the zoning of the entire 101 acres as it pertains to the annexation of the land in question. I have chosen to speak under the annexation portion, which I now understand has been consolidated with zoning. I'm aware that the council met at executive session and have been briefed on the issues, so I will be as concise as I can be. Slide, please. Looking at the zoning staff report from this past August, you will see that the city insisted on submitting the zoning commission the zoning request for this parcel of land as C medium density multifamily. We all found this rather curious since the applicant of the zoning change was requesting A5. Why would the city insist on C? Oh, thank you. In that same zoning staff report, you'll see on this slide where the report states that the zoning types which would align with the future land use designations according to the 2023 comprehensive plan are AG and A21, vacant, undeveloped, agricultural, and suburban residential. The quote taken from this report, highlighted in red here, states, quote, "The proposed zoning is not consistent with the future land use map portion of the comprehensive plan," end quote. The report goes on to state that single-family residential would be consistent. On this slide, I have included a portion of the city's mayor and council communication dated 12/14/21, at which time I know many of you weren't on the council or you had only been in office for a very brief period of time. This was submitted to council for approval of the pre-annexation agreement by the city. The highlighted language in the discussion portion of this communication is the only time we see record showing zoning is discussed with mayor and council. The focus of the city is clearly on expanding the city's public water and wastewater infrastructure with very little, if any, regard to the city's comprehensive plan and future land use alignment with that plan. And this brings me back to the C multifamily designation the city requested despite Pulte's application for A5. I believe it is because of this clause, 7C, in the pre-annexation agreement between the city and the Parks at Village Creek, which summarized states that this document is prevailing and controlling in the event of a zoning conflict with the city. We acknowledge that December 2021, when this document was executed, was the thick of the COVID pandemic. I'm sure even the city staff were working remotely, as a great deal of us were at the time, and things may have fallen through the cracks. But the clause you see here has effectively rendered the zoning commission and the council's decision regarding the zoning of this property irrelevant if it does not align with the agreement. This clause stole the process of public hearings and representation of the people from you, the council, and from us, the residents of the ETJ. This pre-annexation agreement is contrary to Texas local government code regarding zoning and Fort Worth's comprehensive plan, which is also mandated by the Texas local government codes, as seen here. And while I'm sure you all are very familiar with the Texas local government codes, I offer you this as a gentle reminder. Section 42.001 of the code states, quote, "The legislature declares it the policy of the state to designate certain areas as extraterritorial jurisdiction of municipalities to promote and protect the general health, safety, and welfare of persons residing in and adjacent to municipalities." The persons. We, the persons who reside in Redbird neighborhood, humbly request acknowledgement by the council that an error was made by the city when drafting and executing this pre-annexation agreement between the parks at Village Creek and the city in 2021. We also ask the council to kindly direct the city to initiate an amendment to the pre-annexation agreement to change all future zoning of the entire 101 parcel to A5 instead of the current C designation. Thank you for your time and thank you for your service to the residents of Fort Worth and the ETJ that surrounds it.
Councilman members, that's the conclusion of our speakers on this particular item. I'm going to ask Rich to come back up. Rich, lots of well-stated concerns expressed tonight by our speakers. I just would ask that maybe you try to points of clarification where it may be helpful and maybe speak to this is a complex case and it's important to me and I'm sure the rest of council and certainly Councilmember Nettles that we attempt to clarify some of these things tonight.
Certainly. So with this property, the city is the platting authority. So the development services staff will ensure that the property meets all the city's requirements with regard to their plat and the water, sewer, stormwater, and roadway infrastructure necessary to support this development. If the city annexes the property into the city limits, then the city also becomes the authority over the building permits to ensure that the homes that are constructed meet all of the city's requirements. If the city chooses not to annex, then there will not be any government authority regulating any of the construction of the buildings.
And I think just based on some body language in the back, I think maybe there's some confusion around that as to why that is, why the city would have originally entered into this development agreement in the first place, knowing what you just stated, that development was possible outside of annexation. And I think that maybe there's a clarification needed there as well.
Certainly. So the developer could have chosen to develop without an agreement with the city. They would have been subject to any county regulations on development, which is fairly minimal. They'd still need to plat their property. But the requirements of the city are certainly more onerous as far as what we require when a property plans to come into the city limits. And the counties don't regulate the building permits in Tarrant County. There's no building permitting authority in the county at all, in any of the counties, to really regulate how the homes are constructed.
And then there's been quite a bit of discussion around the inadequacy of 1187. And this 1187 spans several different council districts across the city of Fort Worth. To the extent that you're comfortable speaking about plans there, and if we need to call in reserves, we could do that as well.
Certainly. So certainly that's a TxDOT roadway that we don't control. My understanding on the history of the development is the initial plan, they're building a north-south street through the middle of the development coming up to 1187. They had intended for their traffic to turn left onto 1187 at that point. As I understand it, TxDOT came back and said, no, you can't have left turns at that location. You're going to have to move your left turns down to Redbird Lane and put the signal at Redbird Lane. They wouldn't have wanted basically two intersections turning left that close together. So that's kind of evolved over time. So certainly right now, the plan for development at that north-south roadway is only right turns into the neighborhood, right turns out of the neighborhood. It is forcing all that left-bound traffic on 1187 down to the Redbird Lane intersection. So that's why staff is now engaging in discussions with the developer of both improvements all the way down Redbird Lane, because it's certainly a narrow roadway as it currently exists, as well as a left turn lane from Redbird onto 1187. And our development services staff is coordinating with the TxDOT department staff on those improvements that need to be done.
And then to your knowledge, and I think I can ask the developer to come up in a moment if that's helpful, but as was articulated in the City Plan Commission meeting, there was a lot of discussion around lack of communication, especially with many of the individuals that came this evening, which obviously leads to additional confusion and concern from constituents. Were you party to any of that discussion with the developer about the need to reach out and have a more proactive meeting and larger discussion?
I was certainly present at the Plan Commission meeting. I watched portions of the Zoning Commission meeting regarding the request for communications between the developer and the residents living nearby the area. Outside of that, I'm not aware of any communications.
Okay, thank you. And before I call the developer up, one more question. Should the council proceed and approve this particular M&C towards annexation, what will the next steps look like on this particular development?
So they are currently constructing their public infrastructure. So of course the city staff is out and would be inspecting that to make sure it's constructed in accordance with all the city's regulations. Once that's constructed, the next step would be for them to request building permits to build the homes in the neighborhood, and then the city's inspectors would be inspecting those to ensure that they are constructed to meet the city's standards. As I understand it, the water CCN's already been transferred to the city, so that step's been done. And of course, you have the companion zoning case tonight, where, to clarify, based on the statements that were made, the development agreement called for C multifamily with the option, as we allow under our zoning ordinance, to construct single-family residential. So for the portion of the property before the city council tonight, at the zoning commission meeting, It's my understanding the applicant said they were fine with doing the A5 single-family zoning for this parcel, and that the Plan Commission made that recommendation to the City Council on the zoning case tonight. Other portions of the property to the north that are subject to that development agreement are not before the City Council tonight. I'm not aware of any applications being made yet on those parcels, so those would come later
Those
to
would
you.
have to come back to council for those particular parcels. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Correct.
Councilor Nettles, I'll pause there if you had any questions specifically for Rich. Do have a question for the developer. Okay, thank you, Rich. Councilor Martinez, please.
Yes. So Rich and the developer will probably know the exact date. Do we have an estimated project completion date of when at least the first initial development will be finished?
I'll defer to the developer on the specific timeline that they're on. We give them 2 years to finish construction of the public infrastructure, but of course, they often can get that done a lot faster.
I know TxDOT has agreed to put in a traffic light. Do you have any idea of when that will be put in place?
I do not know specifically when that'll be put in place. Development Services is in discussions with the developer about the traffic light, is my understanding.
Thank you, Rich. Who's here on behalf of the development this evening? Hi there.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Mark Zett. I'm the Vice President of Development for Pulte Homes Dallas Division.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. You know, in the City Plan Commission, there was a lot of discussion back and forth from commission members, especially concerning a lack of communication. At this point, have you or anybody with Pulte Homes reached out and sat down with any of the speakers here this evening or other neighborhood members?
So I was not at the Plan Commission. I actually had my consultant and a PM there that night. We understood and felt the public's disinterest in this development, right, for the single family, more for the multifamily, I believe. The Redbird Lane Association sent over an email with a bunch of requests for information, which we did respond to, but we have not met with them in person. We were unable to attend, I think it was the 7th of this month, where they had their neighborhood association meeting in, I believe, one of the houses out there, which I was not comfortable sending anybody into that situation.
Okay. And I'm going to turn it back over to Councilmember Nettles. I want to make a few points. And Mark, you can stand, but it's you know, I'm just really going to make comments at this point. So if you'd like to sit for a moment, and Councilmember Nettles may have a moment too. These are really difficult cases, and I respect the position that Councilmember Nettles is in, because this is an area of the city that has grown rapidly, and a lot of these issues we've inherited as a community, and sometimes it just comes with being one of the fastest growing cities. I'm going to support my council member on his decision this evening, but I am going to ask for this, and if my office needs to be the one to conduct the meeting, I'll do so. Mark, if you on behalf of Pulte Homes or whomever needs to have that meeting, we have to sit down with these community members. We're doing a tremendous amount of work alongside TxDOT right now. A lot of it is in that western corridor because we're trying to avoid the mistakes we made in the northern part of Fort Worth, and it is a life and safety issue. A lot of the comments made tonight were, yes, around transportation. There's also some issues around stormwater and floodplain issues. I have confidence in our city staff. We have some of the very best and brightest individuals on the city that really advocate to make sure we're making really sound decisions around floodplain and infrastructure needs. But some of the issues around transportation, it takes partnership with TxDOT and also with Tarrant County Commissioners Court, which they've been incredibly helpful. Commissioner Ramirez has as well. So I'm on record here supporting Councilmember Nettles to conduct a meeting that includes all of you in your red shirts, anybody else that want to be there. Open up to City Hall to do that, and let's have a real discussion about what that infrastructure looks like, because some of these issues are actually outside Pulte Homes' control, the things the city of Fort Worth has got to be better in communicating and advocating on. And specific to 1187, if I called on each council member that is impacted by 1187, they'd all have an opinion about how they've advocated differently, and it is very frustrating. We are going through a Fort Worth district, which is a larger TxDOT district across North Texas, which is important for you to know, to really put them at the table and force additional money that we're due here on this side of the Metroplex around major infrastructure projects, including 1187. And you'd be proud to know that both Parker County and Tarrant County advocates were all saying the same thing. 1187 is 10 years or more behind, and we've got to step up. And so you have that process undergoing right now, along with every single elected elected official and stakeholder in this entire Fort Worth district, which is a positive thing, but you wouldn't know that yet because we haven't started publicizing that. So I wanted to be on record this evening. So again, thank you for taking the time to come. I can imagine it is incredibly frustrating. I was frustrated for you watching that city plan commission. Our city plan commissioners are appointed for that position to do exactly what they did, advocate for their individual districts and make sure they're asking for any developer to sit down with community members. That should be the bare minimum. Mark, I realize you kind of inherited this and you've got to go back to your team and make sure the right people are there. But just know my office stands ready to make sure that communication happens clearly, and we support Councilmember Nettles and his staff as well. So with that, I'll stop talking and turn to Councilmember Nettles. Thank you.
No, thank you, Mayor. I'm glad you did mention that because I had the same concerns. I thought you did meet with the community, so I was not aware of that. I do have one question for maybe Melinda, since this is an annexation with a zoning opponent, and I know with annexation, we have 90 days to act upon it, and so I know tonight is important for that reason. But is there any issues with approving the annexation today and continuing the zoning case?
That is within the council's discretion to do that.
Is that going to cause any issues? I mean, if it is, I just want to know. He's
Yeah, Rich has that look.
Did have that look. So actually, their development agreement says we will consider the zoning at the same meeting we consider the annexation case. So as you'll recall, we were on the agenda about 30 days ago, and they had agreed to a 30-day delay of both actions. And certainly, if that's what the council wants to do, I can talk to the developer and see if they're willing to sign off. I don't know that they have a representative here that has the authority to sign off on that, but that would be one option.
but we can approve the annexation today.
You would have to approve both today, or you would have to see if the developer is in agreement to signing another 30-day extension of that agreement. And if they have somebody that's available,
Is he
the proper authority.
representation? Mark, are you the representation for that?
I guess my question would be, the A5 zoning doesn't appear to be the problem. I know they don't want development down there, but the multifamily zoning, what seems to be the problem, which we're not addressing today. So we would prefer to be annexed into the city of Fort Worth, like the annexation agreement that we purchased from the original developer that negotiated it. But if you feel strongly about pushing it another month, it doesn't hurt us. We still have time. We're not going to deliver until December. And then we still have things we are working through with Cannon and the improvements to Redbird Lane, the signalized intersection, all the things that were discussed today, we're working on. We're not turning a blind eye to it. We understand that public safety is very important, not only for the existing residents, but for the ones that we're going to bring.
Okay.
So,
Well, thank you. Thank you both. I'll say this, and I do want to acknowledge, I did hear someone say, at least acknowledge that some things happen wrong. Some things happen wrong in the pre-agreement, and you can see that tonight. I think when I first heard about this case, I sat there and asked staff, why in the world did we do this? Because when we can't make decisions beforehand, it ties our hands. And so tonight, our hands are really tied, because to be fiscally responsible is not just lowering your taxes, but it's making sure the people who actually use the water and sewer are paying taxes into the city of Fort Worth as well. And so that's what really ties me tonight. But I'm going to also join. I do want to also apologize that our office did not get a chance to set up a meeting. We dropped that ball, and so we will be working to get that meeting set up within the next 30 days. And so I want to acknowledge both of those, and also have empathy. I understand that you are in a rural area, and you may not know this, but when you live in areas of rural, it's common to go to somebody's house or front yard to have a meeting. It's pretty safe. Sometimes they have cookies and tea that you might enjoy. And so it's very common. I've been to a lot of them. And so we heard you tonight. I want to make sure that when you leave tonight, you do feel like you were heard. And we are committed to answering your questions as we move forward. But with that, I'm going to move to approve the annexation.
I've got a motion on the floor and a second by Councilmember Beck. Any other discussion? Thank you. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item will be ZC 2025-117. Mayor, we have speakers.
We do. Our first speaker is Lori Martin, followed by Casey Amundson, excuse me. Where did Lori go? Okay. Casey Amundson will be followed by Darren Plowman. That middle mic, yes, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Casey Amundson. I live at 4380 Redburn Lane, and I'm the largest landowner in our neighborhood, where I'm an active hay producer and currently have livestock grazing several of my pastures, which humbly makes me the expert, I guess, on rainfall and soil. So here I am. I bought my farm in 2022, and the reason why I purchased it was to escape the chaos of the city, which I think most of us can agree that things are getting pretty chaotic here. I'm here to speak about the flooding issues that occurs on 1187 and the surrounding properties when rain exceeds the saturation limits of the native surrounding soil. I've done some what I would call back of the napkin math, and I have some numbers to share. So here we go. For every 1 inch of rainfall, 1 acre of land can expect approximately 27,000 gallons of water. For the 100 acres currently being developed, that's 2.7 million gallons per 1 inch of rainfall. Under normal circumstances in Texas, you can expect the soil to absorb anywhere from 0.2 to 0.8 inches of rain per hour. When the 100 acres was pasture, trees, and other vegetation, it was able to capture the rainfall and prevent flooding under normal circumstances. As you change the geography of a large piece of property, this has a major impact on the soil solubility. For phase one of the project, with approximately 200 homes, with an average roof square footage of about 2,000 square feet, you're looking at about 250,000 gallons. When you add sidewalks, roads, biking trails, playgrounds, etc., you're looking at approximately another 100,000 gallons. With a total of over 350,000 gallons, that's the equivalent of 22 residential swimming pools or over half an Olympic-sized pool for every 1 inch of rainfall. Keep in mind, all of this water is going to be collected in gutters, pushed away from the houses, and routed with low friction paths to the retention pond and creek that was constructed, and ultimately to the creek, Village Creek. These numbers only account for the 100 acres and obviously do not account for the natural runoff into Village Creek, which has already proven to cause substantial flooding under major rain events. The average yearly rainfall in Burleson is 37 inches. This will equate to an additional 12.7 million gallons of rainwater entering Village Creek per year, with phase one of this development just south of 1187 crossing Village Creek. Here's a couple of pictures really quick to just show you how serious things get in our neighborhood, which is normal rainfall without the additional 12.7 million gallons every year that's going to be added to this roadway here. In closing, our community is concerned and we need your help to make sure proper zoning has occurred. Thank you.
Darren Plowman. Darren will be followed by John Saldivar.
I'm going to remain civil in this. Never seen this man in my life, not in any meeting. Did never know who he was until he walked up tonight. What is being done is a disservice to our neighborhood. I do understand that you're in a complicated position, and I am sorry for that. But this is a sad disservice to us. Unfortunately, when it's all said and done, the city of Fort Worth, the residents that he brings out there in our neighborhood will be left with the aftermath when they've taken their profits and they have moved on to another parcel of land. And those of us left will have to deal with the aftermath of what's being done here. I'm sorry you're in this position. I'm even more sorry that we're in this position.
Our next speaker is John Saldivar, followed by Michelle Quant Johnson. Michelle? Michelle will be followed by Susan Schomburg and then Chad Brantley. Yes, please. Thank you. That's okay. It's okay. We can share. You have to come to the microphone. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much. Well, you have to just start from there because there might be public watching and we have to leave it publicized. Thank you. Thank you. You can start, Michelle. Thank you so much.
All right. I just wanted to say this is my second time to attend a city council meeting, and I've been very impressed with the diligence that you show to our community and our citizens. I thank you very much for your service. My name is Michelle Quant Johnson. I own the 80 acres that's closest to the Village Park development. I'm downstream from them. And I have seen significant damage to my property, if you want to look at the pictures I've shown you, from their lack of securing the banks of Village Creek. So when they first started developing the area, they took down the big trees and vegetation along the creek line. And that encouraged erosion, flooding, and also established or destroyed any habitat for the wildlife in the area. They moved the soil from the higher ground, and Congressman Nettles, you probably have seen this. You've seen how it's very high on the east side, lower on the east side, and they got the floodplain out of the floodplain by moving soil. Well, what that did was put my land and other downstream neighbors' land into the floodplain. More of their land was put into the floodplain. So in April of 2024, we had a fairly heavy rain, and I went down to look at my property line. 3 sections of my land had been pushed into the creek, and the fence was destroyed and down there. I've lived there for 25 years. This has never happened before. Only when they started moving dirt have I experienced this type of flooding on my property. If I've received this much damage before any concrete has been laid, I can only imagine how bad it's going to be whenever we don't have, when the rainwater does not have any impervious surfaces to absorb it. So since then, I was told that the Corps of Engineers has gotten involved and enforced their violations. But I do believe that the downstream property owners needs to be recompensed for the land that they've lost to floodplain, the fencing and erosion that I have done because of their lack of protection of the banks to Village Creek. The developers of the parks of Village Creek have continually shown by their actions that they have no respect for our community, for the environment, or the regulations that have been set up on them by TCEQ. They were not supposed to destroy the trees. They did. Over 50 trees were destroyed. Before you move forward with this annexation, I ask you to consider the flooding issues we have and protect our community. Require more permeable surfaces of riffraff and gravel, plant trees and vegetations, require them to plant the 50+ mature trees that they cut down against TCEQ regulations.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Susan Schomburg, followed by Chad Brantley.
Hi, I'm Susan. Thank you for having me up again. I don't have any prepared remarks for this section of, but I do want to say a couple things. We have asked over and over for meetings. We are very anxious to have meetings. We just want our questions answered. In our head, we're doing worst case scenario because we don't have answers to these questions. I fear for our residents who live in the neighborhood, who are elderly, who are driving down Redbird Lane and going on to 1187. Something's going to happen, and I don't want it to be anybody that I know and love. We are asking more so begging for help here. We are not opposed to the development. We are fine with the development. We just want the infrastructure fixed and safe before all this happens, not just for us, but for these 199 homes that they're building. There will be 400 cars added to traffic just on our roads. That has to be taken into consideration before we just start plopping people in. So again, we are begging for meetings. We are asking for information. Whatever y'all need from us, we are happy to provide. We are a very friendly group. We just want answers, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Chad Brantley, followed by Kim Brantley.
I'm the same way. I didn't understand how all this worked, so we thought we only got 3 minutes, so I'll take advantage of this extra 3 minutes. And first of all, I just want to go on record and just say that if we could all just get in our boat and paddle down the river and say, let's annex this, the whole 101 acres to City of Fort Worth, and then let's zone the whole property to A5, we're done. We're ready to move on. But the question that we do not have the answer for is what happens to the other 40 acres, and we do not want multifamily. So I'm gonna go on record on that. And so we'll come to that down the road, but that's just really where we are at as a neighborhood. Now, I also can go on the record and say this gentleman right here has not reached out to us. I don't know who he is. I've met Matt, who is with Pulte. He's a very nice guy. Jace has been the mouthpiece for these people, and he's not here tonight. Nettles, I want to know why. He's got time to meet with you. He's been at every other meeting. He's not here tonight. I think it's clear. It's pretty understandable. And all we're asking is for you guys to work with us. We are decent people. And I mean, salt of the earth kind of people, God-fearing people. We're not mean. We just want answers. We want to work with you. We want to know what's going on. I've got a driveway that's going to exit right in front of my 2.5 acres. I come out of my driveway and we're almost going to have head-on collisions. I want to know what's coming. Is there going to be a wall there? Is there going to be, do these people that are buying the houses, what's disclosed to them? We've asked a lot of questions. Yes, you did respond, but they weren't good responses. Give us all a break. I also want to say that I've listened to the public comments the last couple times y'all have had them. Man, I am sorry for the people that stand up here and come and say what they say to each of you. And I truly want to thank you for the time that each of you did spend with us and that you reached out to help us. And then tonight, Councilman Nettles, you willing to do what you're willing to do. And Mayor, appreciate you going on record saying, go meet with these people and offering even your buildings for that to happen. Whatever it takes, we're willing to do it. So I just want to say thanks to y'all. Appreciate what you do. I know it's a thankless job many times, and keep up the great work. And thanks for standing with us. God bless.
Our next speaker is Kim Brantley, followed by Nikki Slobodin, who's also on behalf of the group. I'm going to stand in your honor for just a second and stretch, Kim. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll sit back down. Nikki is up next. No? Okay. Councilmember Nettles, that's the conclusion of our speakers on this zoning case.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you guys again. I know I did speak with DJ earlier about some of the flooding issue, and I think we have a representative here, and I'll just briefly, we'll have to go in detail of it, but some of the flooding issues that we have that are currently and existing, and if the development would cause more issues to the neighbors. Henry.
So thank you, Councilmember Nettles, Mayor Parker, Council. So for the record, we, Development Services, we have a stormwater development team that looks at our drainage study and our drainage criteria manual. We also work with our Transportation Public Works floodplain administrator, and we work hand in hand with that. So they've met all the permits, whether it's floodplain development permits, excuse me, drainage studies. They've also done they work with FEMA with a CLOMR. So they've met all our requirements in regards to drainage.
Okay, Thank you. And so what we're gonna do, when we set the meeting up, I did speak with DJ again. He's not here today. I think he's ill, uh, or not feeling good. But we're gonna work on getting the meeting so that you guys can hear and ask questions directly to Development Services, and they can answer those questions for you, so everyone have an understanding. And so we're gonna make that happen. Thank you again for coming. I'll even say, Chad even attended my town hall. He was very dedicated, so I really appreciate your dedication, sir, and I have you. So I'm going to move to approve, and then we're going to have a meeting as soon as possible. Thank you. That's my
Motion to second, council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be MNC 25-0966.
Councilmember Peoples.
I would like to move to approve.
Motion and a second, council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be MNC 25-0955.
Councilmember Blaylock. Thank you. Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-029.
Councilmember Flores. It's green. I don't know what's going on. There you go. Try again.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-126.
Councilmember Blaylock. Councilmember Larsdorf.
126 is 8.
I meant 125. You're 125.
125 was continued.
Oh, I just caught. Councilmember Nettles, we're rolling. Sorry, y'all.
approve.
Motion and a second, please vote. Now, I will say we have two speakers, but that says 4, and he just said approve. So unless y'all want to speak. No? It was Stephen Cook and Joe Potoff. I'm just making sure. Okay. Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-114.
Councilmember Flores.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-135.
Councilmember Flores, we have one speaker on this item, Eric Lamontagne.
Evening. Unsurprisingly, I'm in support. I work for Crunch. Really just here if the council had any questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Flores, any questions?
No questions. Move to approve.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is SP-25-010.
Councilmember Hill, okay. Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is SP-25-012.
Councilmember Blaylock.
Oh, motion to approve.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-138.
Motion and a second, council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-140.
Councilmember Nettles.
Move to approve.
Motion a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-141.
Councilmember Peoples. A motion a second, please vote. Well, I didn't see anything happen. I don't think we might do that one again. I don't think Councilmember Hall was able to vote, and then it went away.
We're just going to
We got a motion to approve, yes, ma'am, and see if they can cue it. If we need a, oh, there it goes. Thank you. Motion carries. There we go.
Next is ZC-25-145.
Councilmember Blaylock, we have several speakers on this item, but only if there's opposition. To my knowledge, there is none.
I believe Wes is to speak regardless.
Wes?
Did you want to say something, Wes?
Just here to answer any questions, just trying to get 2 additional lots on this site here due to floodplain.
No additional questions. Think you're going to win one.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Motion a second, council, please vote. Chris, try one more time. Thank you. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-146.
Councilmember Peoples.
Move to approve. Move to approve.
Motion and a second, council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-147.
Councilmember Beck. Okay, motion to approve in a second, please vote.
Second.
Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-148.
Councilmember Blaylock. Second. Motion a second, council, please vote. Motion carries.
ZC-25-149 was continued to November 11th. That gets us to ZC-25-150.
Councilmember Crane. We have 2 speakers on this item. Thomas Jones for Adrian Smith. Is he still here? If not, you have no opposition. Mr. Smith, Mr. Jones.
Parker, City Council, thank you for having me and thank you for doing what you do. I've followed the City Council for years and it is amazing the amount of trash you have to put up with. That's what I'll call it. This is in conjunction with a comment I want to make as is relative to Las Vegas Trail. I live on the west side. I've driven for 30 years down Camp Bowie, observed the decay of the area, and now I'm observing the improvements made thanks to Betsy Price and Brian Beck, Brian Byrd, now Michael Crane, the mayor, city council. All of you have worked very hard to make that happen. What a consortium of nonprofits and outside agencies you've had and brought in and made it very successful. So for that, you get kudos, big kudos. I've talked to the emergency responders, the police, code enforcement, as you know, many times, not only there, but other way. The moral of the story is if you're truthful and you're civil and you're respectful in your comments to the city, you will get back truthful, respectful, and civil comments as to your concerns. And I encourage those who have lately have exerted effort to debunk that, to pay attention to the city's overall improvements and what they're doing and what these folks are having to do every Tuesday night at least, or during the city meetings, as well as the other council meetings. A lot of time, tremendous pay, I'm sure, but I do really, really appreciate everything you guys have done, and I'm for this revamp of Las Vegas Trail. I think it will really help. It will bring about further change that's been needed there, and I'm excited for my neighborhood, their neighborhood, as well as City of Fort Worth. Thank you.
Councilmember Crane, that's the conclusion of our speakers on this item. Let me try again.
Here we go. Hey, Thomas, thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for your words. Thanks for your longtime service as neighborhood president in Lost Creek and all that you've done out there. And thanks for sticking with us this whole time. And it is true, he watches because I get text messages as we're up here over the years. But thanks again. Best to May too. I'll move to approve as amended. Yeah, I wish I got to read this out though. But I love it. I'll also say thanks to the city staff that aren't here and that are here too for your hard work on this council initiated zoning change. You can read this whole page of what we're doing there. I really appreciate the hours that were put into making sure this works. So I'm going to move to approve as amended for 2924 Broadmoor to PDMU1, excluding certain uses, NASJRB, site plan required, and 3025 West Loop 820 South and 3008 West Normandale to PDMU2 plus motorcycle sales, repair, and service, excluding certain uses, site plan required.
Got a motion and a second, council. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-151.
And Councilmember Hall, we have a few speakers on this item. Our first is Andrew Ruig, followed by Patrick Sweetster.
Presentation also. Good evening, Mayor Parker, members of the council. Andrew Ruig here with Master Plan representing Superstar Car Wash, the applicant for this particular case. I wanted to just walk through a couple things with this. As you can see in the aerial here, our site's highlighted in yellow. This is part of a Target development. So Target is the primary element of this development, and then we have a bunch of pad sites. Superstar Car Wash here, shown with the yellow star, is one of the pad sites in the middle of this development. We are in G commercial, so that is the most intense commercial district. So there are certain things that can be allowed by right, particularly auto body shops, tire shops. We are needing to rezone for the car wash because we're within 200 feet of a residential use, and that's the Trailhead multifamily development directly to our north. If we go back they're already developed, so we are within that 200 feet. I have a couple of slides that kind of show how far away we are. Superstar Car Wash, they're a national company doing a lot of work here in DFW, has strong community involvement aspect to them. We think this is a great location for a new car wash, about 2.5 miles from any other car washes. We've also gone through some plan iterations through this process with the staff and then with the Zoning Commission. Zoning Commission ultimately approved us 8-2. We took the advice of the commission and shifted our site a little bit more to provide some additional landscape buffers, to add some additional trees. These are things we heard about in neighborhood meetings that neighbors wanted to see if we were to move forward with this particular plan. Here's a quick version of the landscape plan that shows trees here on the western side of the site. Visual for what the car wash would look like. We've revised this to make sure we're not requesting any development waivers, so we're good to go as far as that goes. One thing I did want to point out with our new iteration, the zoning says you have to be 200 feet away. We're technically within that 200 feet because it's property line to property line, but our use itself is about 200 feet from the parking lot of the multifamily to the north of us. Nearest single-family district is about 800 feet away. Usually the car washes are required by CUP. They make some noise, so you're going to have additional buffers included in those. We included a rear screening wall, additional landscaping, no development waivers requested. So we just think this is a really good use for this market, and we're kind of doing everything by the book, by the code. So we hope to see if you can support that tonight. Appreciate it.
Our next speaker is Patrick Sweetser, followed by Wes Hoblet.
Patrick is flying in. They're out of Scottsdale, so he's had a delayed flight, so he won't be here, unfortunately. But I can kind of take over where Andrew left off a little bit to kind of talk about traffic. I know that came up with the neighbors. We met with a number of them. These numbers on the bottom are really from Superstar, where this is their highest amount of traffic, per site. And I think this actually came from the Jacksboro site that is in District 2, a little bit north of us. So, maximum it's 10,000, almost 11,000 washes a month. That's not including any rainy days, anything like that. So it really boils down to about 30 to an hour, which we can accommodate on the site pretty much, with all the queuing that we have for the 3 lanes. One of the comments from staff was we could get rid of one of those lanes and add more landscaping. We're open to do so, but that's kind of our iteration right now. So reaching out to the neighborhood started pretty often. In August, we reached out to the councilwoman's office and we, gathered the groups that we needed to reach out to. Started, reaching out to those groups a couple days later. A lot of apartments that are nearby. Obviously, the bordering apartment, which is triggering the CUP, as well as a lot of the HOAs. September 3rd, we had a neighborhood meeting over Zoom. That was what the neighborhood preferred. We discussed, some of their concerns, answered questions, comments. Had another one on October 3rd before we went to Zoning Commission. And that was unfortunately with Desolano Springs, Chisholm Trail Ranch residential HOA was not available, but we followed up with her. These are 2 support letters from the master developer UCD, as well as the apartment, which is triggering the need for the CUP. And really one of the things that's kind of come up to us that was told to us essentially the week of Zoning Commission was the master developer, as my colleague noted, there's G zoning on the site today. That zoning allows for a lot of uses that we heard the neighborhood did not like. I think it was a couple months ago, back in either December of 24, January of 25, where I think it was a tire place and a brake place tried to go just to the south of here. They didn't like that use. The master developer kind of hinted pretty heavily that they could bring those uses in since there was interest in those to this site and they wouldn't need a zoning change. And so, I wanted to convey that to the neighbors and council, just to let you know that the developer does need to fill this site. We think this rounds it out nicely. I know it's automotive, but it's less intensive than some of the other things that can go there. And, talking to the neighbors, they're kind of seemingly half and half on it. They're not super in support of the car wash, obviously, but they really don't want the other uses. So they're kind of in the middle, but happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Derica Patterson.
Hi, I'm not in a direct neighborhood within the half-mile radius to get the notifications, but I am still in District 6, and we are overpopulated with car washes. I heard the representative say they are no longer seeking the waiver, so I am a little bit confused, and at this point, I may be asking for a continuance because I would like to know what the reproposed option is, because what I originally read said that they were seeking waivers, to not have any screen protection. They didn't have anything as far as the traffic congestion. It was a lot of things that they didn't have, but when they just stood up here, which is also contradictory to what we saw on the agenda to sign up to speak, I'm a little bit confused on what they are asking for now. So I would prefer to just ask for a continuance so that I can review. What I can say though is I do know that down in District 6, we are all we would much rather have other infrastructure built. I keep saying this up here. We keep pushing things in where we're going to increase traffic, but the roads cannot sustain that. We don't even have enough cars for all of the car washes in our district alone. It's just not even that many cars in District 6. He mentioned that there was a car wash 2.5 miles away. I mean, That's a little bit ridiculous to me. But at this point, I'm just asking for a continuance because what I had prepared doesn't necessarily matter if they're saying they're now not seeking waivers. So I'm at this point asking for a continuance so we can see what it is that they're actually requesting.
Councilmember Hall, that's the conclusion of our speakers on this item.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a few questions for the developer, for the developer's representative. So I know that you mentioned that you did have the opportunity to meet with residents. I think that's Chisholm Trail Ranch, Lano Springs, and Trailhead, which is the dense multifamily there on the premises. Could you specifically share what their sentiments were about the car wash?
Like the representative from District 6 mentioned, there's a lot of them. We understand that. We heard that from the residents as well, that they don't want any more car washes. That's what we heard.
Do you know how many car washes are currently operating in that immediate area?
From our map, that was some research, so it looked like it was about 5 or 6 that we could see that were within that kind of distance, but I'm not sure the exact number.
So according to my research, within a 5-mile radius of your proposed site, we have 9, possibly 10. So we have 9 car washes in a 5-mile radius. Just for my own education and for those that are watching at home and who have been following this and are very vested interest in these car washes, how do you determine a suitable location for a car wash? Like what are the inputs? You have 9 in a 5-mile radius. How do you know you need a 10th?
Yeah, so I'll speak to that. A lot of it is the market. I mean, this is a very attractive site to a car wash user because, as you know, this area is growing. It has some existing single family and multifamily residents, more on the way. It's part of a master development, which is going to, that's why the master developer also would like to bring this in. It will help with cross shopping. But I guess to the very root of your question is it has good demographics for a car wash use. These car wash uses typically, capture the market for the people in the closest vicinity who are looking to utilize a location like this. So that's really the main point of it is, they think it's a great site. They have the numbers to support it, and that's why they're so interested in this particular location.
So what would we consider market saturation? Is there such a thing in the car wash industry?
Not from what we've seen. I mean, from this map, it's obvious that there are more car washes further to the north. I can't speak to our competitors, but also one things that we look at in other, cities that we've done these types of uses in is a lot of these car washes will compete with each other on different types of price and product. So, I wish I could tell you exactly which ones we have noted on the map. We just kind of did a quick research to see where other car washes were, but sometimes you'll have car washes, right across the street from each other, and they'll be competing either as the same product, or one will be, more of a higher end car wash versus more of a economical car wash. So those are the things that they look at as far as site selection goes.
Okay. And should this zoning change not be approved tonight?
I didn't touch the thing. I have no idea. We're having all kinds of issues here. I'm trying to get more time.
I could hear you.
Okay, sorry. If this zoning change isn't approved tonight, do you have an alternative?
So we represent Superstar Car Wash. That is our client. The master developer being UCD. They have mentioned to me a myriad of uses that they're thinking about for this specific site. Like I mentioned before, there was a previous case, I think in January, where a tire and a brake place were trying to go to the south, and the e-zoning, they were denied, so they could go here by right, so they know that there's interest. They want to fill the pads to have the rounded shopping center, and they mentioned that those would be interested uses as well as other things allowed.
Did you share that with the residents?
I did, correct, yes, before zoning commission, during zoning commission, then I followed up with the neighbors on after the fact, and we had a meeting after we talked specifically. I reached out to them and mentioned that.
And I just wanted to make sure that the message was brought back appropriately from the developer that if they didn't accept a car wash, another automotive use would be substituted.
That is what we were told, correct. Two specifically.
Okay. Great. Those are the questions that I had. And so I do have some comments that I want to go on the record, and I apologize, you guys, because I know it's late. I'm tired. I don't even know if I'm going to read without messing up, but I'm going to give it a go. So I do want to say, I want to say that I'm appreciative of the opportunity to speak publicly tonight about this case. And I do want to address very plainly for the record the concerns that were raised by the District 6 residents of Chisholm Trail Ranch, Llano Springs, and the Trailhead communities regarding the proposed zoning change for yet another automated car wash in District 6. So these communities have spoken loudly and very clearly. They do not want another car wash, as admitted. District 6 is already oversaturated with similar establishments, and residents are growing weary of being inundated with auto-centric businesses that do not contribute to the character, the quality, or livability of our neighborhoods. And what I find most troubling is not necessarily the proposal itself, but definitely how this process has unfolded. As you mentioned at a recent meeting, residents shared their concerns directly with your team about the car wash, and their concerns weren't met with empathy, nor willingness to collaborate, but instead with threats. And the response I was told was, if we don't get the car wash, we'll just put another auto use there since zoning allows it. And I just want to go on the record with saying that is not how we build trust. That is not partnership, and plain and simple, I think it's just coercion. And despite the zoning department recommending denial, and despite the District 6 zoning commissioner recommending denial, and despite the overwhelming opposition from the people who actually live in the area, you still choose to push forward. At the expense and the peril of the very residents whose lives will be impacted by this decision. And while I try to work in good faith, I will always try to work in good faith with developers who want to invest in District 6. I am deeply disappointed by the approach that has been taken in this case. So, that said, ironically, it is with deep regret that I'm going to recommend the approval of ZC 25151, not because I believe that it's the right development for the area, but because the residents that I have spoken with extensively over the course of the last month, maybe more, are just fearful. They're fearful that this zoning case, if it's denied, something worse will be placed there as retaliation, and I think that that fear is real. They've heard it more than once. I've now heard it. I think it's valid, and I think that that fear was manufactured by your development team, and I think that's disgusting. So I don't think that's how you partner with communities. I don't think it's how you build trust. I don't think it's how you build a long-term relationship, and it's definitely a way to create resentment, division, and disillusionment with the development process. So for the future, for you, and for the others who may be watching this evening, let this be a turning point. If you want to build in District 6, try coming with a spirit of collaboration, not coercion, and be an asset to the community and bring ideas that'll enhance the quality of the life of the residents that you seek to serve. District 6 is definitely open for business, but we don't welcome intimidation as a development strategy. Thank you.
Councilmember Hall, in terms of your motion, I just wanted to clarify, is that without the waivers? No waivers.
I don't know no, it's not your fault. It's just it's a ghost in here, and we're trying again.
So I was presented on at the last meeting that I had with them, there were supposed to be some other changes, which we saw up here. So I want to ensure that the last rendition of the site plan based on the recommendations that were the outcome of the zoning case, I would like to make sure that those actually do take place, and that that's actually documented on the record so that we don't have any reverting back, if you will.
Yes.
It's without waivers currently. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll make that motion again just for clarity. I'm making a motion for approval for ZC 25151 without waivers.
Got a motion and a second by Dr. Hall. Any other comments? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-159.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-167.
Councilmember Flores.
Yes, I move to approve, and also thanks to city staff, TRWD staff, and to Susan on lease.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is MNC 25-0959.
Councilmember Hall.
Okay, I just wanted to make a couple of clarifying, and I promise y'all it won't be long. I wanted to clarify because there were a lot of comments and I received a lot of emails that we're not debating whether or not to move forward with the housing development. That decision, I think, was made earlier last year. So what's actually before us tonight is just really how accessible do we want home ownership to be for our fellow residents in Fort Worth. So I wanted to go on the record with saying, as we all know, our city faces significant shortages of affordable homes for purchase, and the lack of affordable housing affects families, communities, and the future of our city. And to help address this issue, I am supporting the approval of MNC 25-0959, which proposes waiving certain development costs for nonprofit Trinity Habitat for Humanity. And by waiving these costs, we make it more feasible for this organization to offer homes at a price that is more accessible for families who need it most. And I do want to clarify that home buyers in this program, they still have to meet the standard mortgage practices, and they will be fully qualified buyers. This is not Section 8 housing. They will also be tax-paying property owners contributing to the growth of our city, just like any other homeowner in our communities. And so the benefits of homeownership go far beyond than that just of the individual family. Studies show that increasing homeownership in the area reduces crime, fosters safer, stronger neighborhoods, and students who grow up in a home owned by their family tend to have improved school performance. So as for the neighbors themselves, research consistently shows that areas with more homeowners than renters tend to yield more positive social and economic outcomes. So for these reasons, and in recognition of the great need for affordable housing in our community, I am very proud to support this strategy, this pilot, to make home ownership more attainable for Fort Worth residents. This isn't just about building homes, it's about building stronger, more stable communities for our future.
Motion and a second. Council, please vote. Councilmember Nettles, excuse me. Yes?
No, Gage, I really appreciate your work. Thank you for all the work you've done in District 8, and I really I'm excited that you guys are moving throughout the city of Fort Worth, because what you are doing is helping people get in homes. And so, disregard proper belief, you guys are doing an awesome job. I want to make sure I say that on the record. Thank you so much.
Council, we have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries, and thank you to our friends with Trinity Habitat. We appreciate you all.
Next is MNC 25-0964.
Second.
Motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is MNC 25-0953.
Motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Mayor, that concludes all the action items.
Thank you, Jeanette, and meeting is adjourned.